because now they're by themselves. Well, a mess, huh? Yeah. Oh, yes, sir.
Like I just want to say that like I grew up in a Baptist church in the Midwest. All these churches I've gone to mosque, I've gone to all these religions trying to figure this God thing out. And all of them give you heaven after you die. This is one of the few places that have helped me see that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's here now. You know?
Yes.
You just got to overcome the
Absolutely.
ego. And it's great. Like when I think about that, in my old way of thinking, it almost seems disrespectful to the idea that Jesus did all this dying to give you this gift of peace, and you're like, I'll open that when I'm dead. You know, like you can have it right now. If you
Absolutely.
you nailed
That's
it.
why every time you get angry at someone or yourself, you
Exactly.
put Christ back on the cross.
Yep.
You really do. Every time you get mad at yourself or someone else. That's a good point, man. Amazing.
This place is amazing. Appreciate y'all.
That's why I love these fellowships, and I want to encourage you to stay with these fellowships. That's what you're not going to find this anywhere else. And we need to edify one another. We need to hear, and you're going to see you're not the only one. Everybody have the same problem. Situation might be a little different, but the same problem. And everyone who is born of the woman must be born of the Father. You must be born of the Spirit of God. And that's why God doesn't tell us, worship me in the Bible, worship me in crying, worship me by holding up holy hands, worship me by quoting scripture. He said, worship me in spirit and in truth. And you're coming to that now. As this old ego nature is dying, you're going to be living a life of worshiping the Father in spirit, because you will be of the Spirit. You'll be your true self. But I don't want to tell you who you are yet. I want you to see that for yourself. Right? But you do not know who you are at this point. You will if you stay with us. Stay with the silent prayer. Practice staying present, where God is at all times. He's never here. He's not in your mind. And I promise you, you will start to live. You will start living freely right here on earth, and the world will be going crazy around you. People will go nuts, but you're going to see hell is right here on earth inside of human beings. And you're overcoming your hell, because you're in hell too until you overcome all this. And the hell that's in you, you put it out there on others. That's what they're trying to do to you. All right? So stay with the silent prayer, drop the anger, and stay present. And enjoy your life. I love my life. I'm having such an amazing time. But I'm also learning and discovering and waking up, and it's amazing. And the more I get, the more I want. It's like the more you get, the more I want. Can't get enough of your love, babe.
Oh, now he's singing. Howdy, DD. Howdy. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, Johan. I am okay. I just woke up. Not just woke up. I guess I woke up whenever I showed up in the sense sphere, I woke up. And, yeah, have some time to kill. I wanted to listen to Brendan's thought on the well scene, his in-depth thoughts. But I might just go to Who's Views for a little bit, see what they're saying about Lucky Day. Oh, actually, I'm doing really bad because yesterday was free comic book day and I forgot. So now I'm just sad about it.
Narrative about she's got PTSD as a result of all the traumatic things that she saw at the age of 19. Well, hang on a minute. Ace joined the Doctor at 16 in Dragonfire and immediately met the Daleks and then the Cybermen and a host of other things, the gods of Ragnarok and all that kind of stuff. And it didn't.
Doesn't count because Ace was part of Classic Who.
She was back in, she was in the Middle Ages with Sontarans. She was at the birth of the Daleks. She was in the far end of the galaxy battling Cybermen on Voga. She was fairly balanced, and I mean, all right, she wasn't 19, but she wasn't an old woman either. And she seemed to do okay out of it. What is it from the very lightweight stuff that Ruby Sunday has got.
I just think Ruby can't act. She's a likable person slash character, as in she's not offensive, which is why everybody likes her. But like, I don't know, she's kind of boring. She can't act. She's not doing anything for me.
Yeah. So they're implying other adventures there, so she might be, But I said this last night, Ian, when I was watching this. I said, what did she go through last year? Because I'd forgotten. The only thing I remember was Sutek and how awful that was. I thought, what? And then I started thinking in my mind about what Tegan went through, what Sarah went through, what Joe went through, and how they all.
Yes.
It's a lazy way of coming back again to try and add character to these, to these people, these characters that they've made up, and try and add a development to them. To say she's got this thing PTSD.
Oh, they're on it.
That's
What's
very now.
PTSD?
So it was like you've told me before about this companion that.
If we all knew Jordan Lang was the mole in Unit, he might have.
Was in the Whittaker era that had some sort of issue. It's like that, isn't it? It's trying to make them more interesting.
Whoa, whose views got a woman on? They're trying to get competitive. What am I supposed to do with this? Let me fix this.
By saying, "Oh, this
should be
person has
slightly
this,"
different.
and then you don't play on it at all.
Well, you look at Jamie
like
McCrimmon,
very
who was
nice.
taken from 1749 Scotland Battle of Culloden. If it was 1749 or 69, I apologise, Scots, if I got the year wrong.
45.
45, sorry. But within a matter of days, he was taken from that, and he was on the bloody moon. But that didn't make him a gibbering jelly, did it? He
Well,
handled
it
it
did. He
well
said
with
he
it.
started seeing Phantom Pipers and stuff, didn't he?
But it's true, isn't it? I mean, it's just this modern thing of having, because let's face it, the audience they're writing for, because of what they've been told in my opinion, by the adults around them, they're anxious because these adults surrounding them are telling them they're all trapped in the wrong body,
I think I need this.
or the world's going to end tomorrow, or this politician's bad, or this is bad, and it's all right wing, it's right wing, it's far right, it's far right. It's no wonder that some of these kids are absolutely, utterly lunatic.
You will get better in the algorithm if you talk about more truth and you've got that you're a triangle with multiple tree branches, and that you've got, and they use PTSD as a joke as well, and they've probably just been attacked by a dog or a kitten. So
I don't even know what it is. I had to look it up.
Yeah, if you
Used to have to look
say
it up.
stuff like that online, it will give you more traffic, more
Yeah, I shoulda-
in the algorithm for certain things.
What PTSD?
I should have ate something.
PTSD, or that you are a triangle, or you're trigender, or you've got trees coming out of you, or
If you're a triangle, so you've lost me now.
I'll send you the video. Yeah.
I was going to say, going back to the episode though, it's really bizarre. I saw that it's really bizarre that you'll bring back another character from the last season and not continue to develop Belinda. You've only got eight episodes to make this character make a mark, and you take her out of it. That's just stupid, isn't it? Don't you think?
I now know at this particular point which one of the two I'd rather have. And
Of
apparently
course,
they're going
yeah.
to meet later on in the series, aren't they?
But
So
to make sense of the character, it seems really daft to take her out
think
of
we
one
just-
episode where you only got 8 episodes, you know?
it does, absolutely. And that's why they should have just stayed with Millie. She was there filming at the time they're doing it. Anyway, we will know what happened there in the future. When this thing comes off there, we will know. It always happens.
Apparently
It
they were
happens
filming
first
2
bit.
episodes at the one time. They were filming her episode, and then she was filming another one with Belinda at the same time. So it's probably a cost-cutting exercise, no doubt.
I think
You know?
it might be. We've got PTA here, Paul Thomas Ashworth, who liked the show. Paul, There's a lot of people in the chat. Thank you for watching us. Thanks for coming in. Paul, PJ, put why you liked it in the chat. I will try and find you. He's saying, though, I agree with
He said,
everyone.
"Put what
Millie
you
is
like in the chat."
brilliant. Matthew Burrows is with us saying Pete
Good
McTee is much better writer than what he
Oh,
delivered this
water.
weekend. From what I've seen of his stuff out with Doctor Who in the past, I would agree with that. I would agree with that because I watched and loved that. I can't remember what he did now, but there was a couple of things I've seen of his that were quite good.
He did like Praxius, though, to be fair.
I don't know what that is, although I keep getting mixed up with Star Trek 6. Stephen Braddock is saying to us the PTSD Ruby stuff totally unbelievable. There wasn't
Yeah,
a hint
hate
of her not
special
enjoying her adventures with the Doctor. It was just there as a plot contrivance to set up the ending. And Robert Payne saying to us, the first time I saw Millie Gibson, I wasn't impressed, but in light of others, she doesn't seem as bad these days.
I would have loved to meet Sutek as a giant dog, being a dog lover. That'd be fantastic for me. I don't know, you get traumatized by that, surely.
I think if you'd swallowed the time vortex, you might be a little bit more traumatized. You wouldn't just do what that one did and carry on, surely. That one didn't want to go home at the drop of it. Oh no, because that wasn't the time we're in. Do you see where the hypocrisy is coming in slightly? Rose swallowed the entire time vortex.
And it didn't
Hello?
even give her
I
indigestion,
don't know
did
what
it?
that
She
means.
was fine for
No.
not having to regenerate. What happened there?
Yeah, she didn't even have to have a nap shortly after that, did she? She just watched this new fella prancing
Like a
around.
heavy meal. Yeah.
Jane Neal-
Martha had to walk
A
the
year.
earth for
Yeah.
a year, telling stories about the Doctor whilst the earth was under the grip of the Master.
Martha was a real
Yeah.
character.
That was
though.
crafty in there, wasn't it?
Well, but it was, I mean, did that traumatize her? I mean, the only realistic thing there was when she came back to England, she landed on the beach in a small boat. I mean, that's topical these days, isn't it? Because every bugger comes across like that now, don't they?
Like, she was just on her own, though, on that boat, wasn't she? Always with Tom, what's his name? Yeah.
Hey, listen, let's go and see what they're saying in the chat, because we've got a lot of people with us in the chat. Jay Nielsen, welcome to Who's Views. It's good to see you. You've got a little doggy there as well. Look at that, Jode. We don't know what Ruby experienced. She didn't go off the deep end. She's still functioning. She's
More
just got some
water,
trauma she
just
needs
in
to work
case I'm
through.
not-
I don't know if I want my companions with trauma. I mean, they should be having a fantastic time, but then you can call me old-fashioned because I grew up with Joe Grant, Sarah Jane Smith, Leela, Romana, Tegan, and they went through some real bad times as well.
mean-
Even Ace and Mel had some interesting times.
I
That's
just
right
I
there.
just feel there's enough young people at the moment in our schools and in our society that are going through trauma that I don't know that that's what we need to see in television for entertainment.
Exactly, I agree.
actually.
Yeah,
Should
well
be
said.
escapism, definitely, yeah.
I just feel that it almost makes light of the fact that a lot of our kids are in free fall at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, this is why entertainment, which the entertainment industry has forgotten the word entertainment, needs to be entertainment. It's to take people out. And Doctor Who, as you said, Joe, was one of those shows that did that for us. It took you out for 25 minutes.
It did. And don't get me wrong,
Yeah, it's a
obviously all
Tapu
these
Fini
classic
angle.
companions should have been traumatized by what they'd been through. But it kind of gave you an aspiration that that's not what they were, that they were somehow fabulous, that they didn't experience that. And I just, there's
We
enough.
could have got a 26
awful-
episode season about Nissa. I'm sure we could have done, you know?
Yeah, there's enough awfulness in the world that that's not what I want to sit down and watch at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night.
No,
I'm sorry.
no.
I just feel very strongly that we have got a generation that at the moment really can't handle a lot of stuff and are
I'm weak. What is
being
this lady going
diagnosed
on
as
about
being
now?
having
She
mental
said
health
we
problems.
as a generation just can't handle a lot of stuff. That's sad.
All they are is anxious about their exams. Well, of course you're anxious. Their exams, they're not nice. Of course these things aren't nice in life. But they're going to experience an awful lot more in life that isn't nice that they need to learn to deal with. And I think Doctor Who kind of, I don't know, I just feel it's almost trivialising it, and they need to be trying to model a better way of tackling things.
I've said this in previous reviews, Joe. I think at the moment nobody cares about it. The more interested with how they can shoot in DEI, they're more interested they can
but I do
real life
think that-
issues.
Yeah, I do think that really trivialises it. I'm
Of
sorry.
course it does. I totally agree with you. And I think this is supposed to be science fiction. Science fiction family
It's like-
drama.
It's like no one's
never
watched. And if
played
any of you haven't
This
watched
is
this
cool.
film, please watch it. It's a film called Sullivan's
With the water
Travels.
show?
It was made in the 1930s,
So it gets some
I
TP
think. I
region?
might be wrong. But it was all about a
I need
guy
to
who
go
thought
watch
everything
this.
should be serious and everything should be, meaningful. And he ends up, I can't remember the whole plot, but he ends up in prison. And he's in prison watching films. And there's all these men who are in prison for really terrible things are watching a comedy. And they all start laughing. And he realizes that the entertainment is there for a really good reason. There's a reason why things need to be escapism.
Yeah.
And I just think that's what Doctor Who was. For me, Doctor Who was escapism.
Maybe if we get
It gave me
Splash
an hour
Mountain
not
water
to think
chips,
about
that's
some of the horrible things that were maybe happening in my life or in my friends' lives.
This is the problem when you get people controlling something like Doctor Who and they are absolutely obsessed with representation. Why would you want representation in something like Doctor Who when Doctor Who is supposed to take you away from the trauma
Yeah.
that's going on around you in your real life? I mean,
Absolutely.
we don't know. Everybody has a different story in life, but if you suddenly see it in something like Doctor Who, where it's being reflected, where something terrible is happening to you, you're automatically
I-
going to switch off. This is one of the problems
I
I think
loved
why the British
it.
audience and now the worldwide audience, as well as millions of fans, are not coming to the show because it's not giving them the Daleks every other week, zapping stuff, or the Monster of the Week. You know what I'm getting
Yeah.
to?
Absolutely.
Woodhouse 1 to 2.
We could have had that this week with the monster, couldn't we? I mean, that was a good
But they
monster.
decided not to.
It was a
didn't they?
good monster.
We've got Woodhouse 122 saying, I think Tegan had her anti-kill possessed twice by the Mara, nearly sacrificed and witnessed all the Dalek exterminations, and not to mention Adric's death. Yeah, exactly.
And that was
I
the
hate-
best part of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, her character went through an awful lot, but when you look at the original Doctor Who companions, a lot of them did. They saw an awful lot of stuff. Matrix Lord 212 is saying, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out why this was an episode. That's nicely said. Robert Payne is saying, well, Yas had depression.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, the Jodie Whittaker girl. Right.
The Jodie
Yaz
Whittaker
had
girl.
depression, so a modern
I see.
companion has to have some form of trauma, don't they? Danny Pink had PTSD too, but he won't, did he? Oh, I can't remember him. He was bloody wasting space, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Can't remember him. And Domgo, hello Domgo. Have you heard the FA Cup is kicking off at 4:30 next week? So extra time will wipe the Eurovision episode off the schedules in 2 weeks' time. We have heard about that. Stay tuned because, of course, we will be talking about that nearer to that episode. But the BBC and ITV were at loggerheads with the FA, weren't they, trying to get their way about when to put it in.
I didn't want to do that.
PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder, says PTA from Paul Thomas Ashworth. Yes,
They
thank
don't
you
wanna
very
do
much. And Mark Jones is with us saying Joe Grant when she joined the Doctor faced the Auton straight away, then the Daleks, the Demons, the Master, and she was okay.
Now I wish I made a
Um,
psychic.
Again, it's trying to make them look
But
real, and I'm not
part
sure
of-
they should.
No, part of the whole thing about Doctor Who, in my humble opinion, was that when we were watching it in the 70s and the 80s and there was a companion, you wanted to be that companion. The minute they make
There
that
you go,
companion
Tony,
so traumatized they can't deal with
Go
life,
crazy, buddy.
it's like, well, that takes the shine off. You don't want to be that person, do you? Because you don't want to be screwed up. Who wants to be
Exactly.
screwed up?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the problem. They're not very good role models, considering that's all they want to do these days is to find role model after role model after role model for these people to fill that representation DEI quota.
They've got a desperation to make it seem real. That's the thing. They did,
Yeah.
it, they did it with Batman and stuff like
I mean,
that
it's
to make it a real
sci-fi,
world
for
thing. But it's
God's
not real, is
sake.
it?
Yeah.
I thought this was
Andy Gladhill, thank you very much. I'll come to your super chat in a minute. 12.9% audience share is the worst of all post 2005 Doctor Who so far for the overnights. None of us are surprised. We're not surprised because this is the worst reiteration of the reboot Who, I think, since the last one. And I didn't watch
And that's
the Twickenham
saying
era.
something. Yeah.
In the chat as well, we've got Raymond Williams saying to us, the episode was well filmed, but again, it didn't look expensive. Where has this budget gone? Taxis. Moffat episodes looked more expensive. And Miles is with us. Where are you? Why aren't you on here? Oh, he's telling me, hi guys, I'm struggling to get on tonight. Apologies. Well, I wondered where you were. This episode was a nothing burger. Seen it before. Been there, done that. Got the t-shirt. The episode is just a retread of Love and Monsters. That's what I said earlier, wasn't it? It felt like Love and Monsters to me all over again, Miles. See if you can keep going and join us if you can. If you've got that here. A lot of you in the chat now talking about this. Marine Boy is saying to us, oh, we're not going to go into that one, but you may think that one, but I'm not reading that one out. Thank you very much, though, because you never know. You never know what could happen here.
And have to say, if that did happen, what's
it'd
the
be dead.
point?
It'd be dead. It'd be dead at the press launch. It'd be dead at the press launch. If you're not with us here in the United Kingdom, great things happening here in the United Kingdom. Common sense is slowly starting to rear its head again. Take that, show business. Bloody idiots. Boring, lazy oppression and virtue labels, says Jason Parker. Like the unlikable companion who was a nurse, the PTSD thing is another lazy writer weapon to dump around the alleged story. No relevance and a fake foundation. That's a good way. Yeah, that's, I wish I'd said that. That's good. That's good stuff, Jason. Well said. And entertainment creators with us, guys. This is the worst episode of the season. The episode shows everyone would respect some guy with a gun invading a unit base and revealing people addresses, and it's all fine. Now, I know what you mean by that, because something like Unit, certainly the unit I know, wouldn't have handled it that way. And again, that's been put in there, I think, by the scriptwriter and He Who Must Be Obeyed, to create some sort of drama or get them from A to B. And that's why I think entertainment creator, a decent script editor could have come along and said, see that bit there? Doesn't make sense. Just go away and think about that again. It all seems rushed, Jodie, and
Yeah.
it all seems rushed.
But the problem is with the unit that's currently now on to the unit we grew up with, is the unit we grew up with was very definitely a military organisation.
Oh, yeah.
The unit that around at the moment is a bit more huggy. And actually that was a good thing for the Doctor to play off. That was why it was done, I think, the way it was done in the 70s, for that reason, because it was a real contrast in the way that the Brigadier would handle things, the way the Doctor at times would handle things.
Yeah, look at the Silurians, for instance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a reminder, if you've just joined into us here at Who's Views, nice to see you. Please subscribe to the channel. If you have already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you are still subscribed to the channel. Give us a thumbs up as well. Great to see you. Come into the chat. Just to remind you, though, however, if you have tomorrow off as a bank holiday, go and look at You and Eden, I think it is, isn't it? You and Eden, the channel, because they start tomorrow morning from just after 9 o'clock. The reruns of the Pertwee era, which Unit, of course, plays a massive part of. Spearhead from Space hits your television screens again tomorrow, back to back. All 4 episodes, yeah. It's screened throughout the day. I can't wait to get to it before our Blake 7 review tomorrow night at some point tomorrow. So, yeah, go and watch it if you've got the day off. Go and support it.
I still have PTSD from missing the review of the Brian Blessed episode. Shouty!
Do you know what? Brian Blessed could have been in this episode. I think it needed him. As for the PTSD storyline, says Miles, what a joke. As an army veteran myself and knowing friends who actually have real PTSD, it makes me sick of TV shows and movies just throwing out there that word. It's
insulting, isn't it? Yeah.
It is.
Something.
Yeah. I mean, they're allowed to do it when it's something like this, when they think they know what they're talking about, when they don't. But try saying a woman is a woman and they'll go play merry hell. Mark Reeves, thank you for your super chat. We had to watch Turlo. Now that's PTSD.
I like Turlo as well.
No!
I loved Turlo.
I was trying to get the fossil stone.
Turlo obsessed.
I really did, though. He was fab.
John is saying to us, we seem to have a lot of TV shows that offer no escapism, and that is what we do need now.
Yeah, we do.
More now than ever. Well said, John. We really, really do. We really do. And Raymond Williams saying, kids are traumatized by the likes of RTD. Let teenagers be teenagers. Pop music being crap hasn't helped. In the past, the music scene helped kids get through this period of time. He's not wrong, though, is he?
Yeah.
No.
He's not wrong. Now all you get is, these idiots that are talking nonsense as well, and no real role models around. This is why I'm going to put it out there, Who's Views. This is why I think there needs to be an actor in the role of the Doctor that's in his mid-40s to 50s. Somebody that grew up in the 70s and 80s with Doctor Who, has got common sense, knows what it's what, and put him in the role as a role model, because the Gatwa's Doctor is so weak as water. He's not a role model.
And then
Really?
once he evolves,
And Matthew
like,
Burrows,
gets to
Jodie, saying, "I love
normal, that
Turlo."
can teach Roll to spell.
There you go. Yeah. Sean Oliver, it's good to see you. Well, welcome back. I think you've nailed it about escapism. I'm tired of being preached to. I
Yeah.
just want 40 minutes of getting away from the grind of life.
It's just
And
everything. Everything is taken so seriously these days. Nobody's allowed to disagree with each other. They're bloody mortal enemies if they do. It's sad. It's like, geez, do you not have any friends that don't think the way you do? That's living in an echo box. That's disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
we
quite
know.
happy for my friends not to agree with me. Doesn't bother me.
No. Well, it doesn't, does it? I mean, we've had enough disagreements in the past, haven't we? Really?
Absolutely.
Actually, over that top. We've also got here entertainment creator. They need to stop. The show really is stupid. They show people supporting a guy with a gun entering unit, also revealing people's addresses and people supporting him. And Robert Payne is saying, "I enjoy how JT is always baffled by references from the Jodie Whittaker."
I'm baffled as well, and I watched it.
I still haven't
Payday.
finished Flux.
We've
Oh, really? Right. I understand. Yeah.
I gave up after one episode. I was like, just wanting to cry at how sad it was.
well,
So,
you say, there you go.
Was
That's
that
all
the
you need
first
to know.
episode? Was that only one you watched? Yeah.
yeah, I just
Well,
the
well,
dog.
okay.
I
The
no,
dog, yeah.
no, just no,
Calvinista, whatever his name was. Yeah.
no.
I'm completely lost. Oh, to Digital Pollution. Good to see you. And George is saying we've missed Jodie's balanced wisdom. I'm going to get that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And Julianne is saying they've blown the budget on the Eurovision episode. Probably.
Probably. Yeah.
We'll be here in 2 weeks talking about that, going, oh, that's where the money went.
I
Right, well,
miss the bubble wrap. The monsters with the bubble wrap.
I miss the
We
inventiveness.
we thought they were awful. Little did we know.
Oh, goodness me. Lots of you in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep your thoughts coming. We've got Duncan Evans here. It's Love and Monsters without the fun of a Blue Peter monster in it. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, as Paul was saying before, the monster, well, it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad.
I like the
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I like
kept
that.
it. They kept it. I mean, I just think it should have been the monster.
Yeah.
You know, why?
Yeah,
why,
they should have just given
I'm going to ask why. Why? I've been asking that for the last year. I don't understand this show anymore. Why?
It looks
Why?
proper
Why?
gargoyle-y.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what Paul said
Which
on
takes
Friday.
you
It looks
quiet.
like something rock, you know, from the. But it reminds me of that thing in Ghostbusters. You remember Ghostbusters?
Yeah,
The dog
yeah.
thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I
There's
think
a
they look
lovely
like-
shot when it's in the unit containment container thing, and he kind of sneaks past, and it slimes past the glass. That's lovely. And then
That's lovely. That
and
bit,
just
yeah.
the creeping about was really, really good. You know.
It does look a bit like that. Jodie's got there a gargoyle. Let's have a look
Oh
at
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well,
Yeah, that's one of my exes there, everybody. Just kidding. Yeah, so that, I just don't understand why they've gone away from this whole monster of the week type thing and tried to mess around with the format of Doctor Who now to be able to say,
Because-
oh look,
it might have worked if they'd actually been clever about it. It might have.
I said last week for last week's episode, which was called The Well,
Mhm.
that might have been better had it been
Put in
2 episodes.
Ombre for Quad 4.
I think this is another one that should have been 2 episodes because it had too much going on in the world. This is the problem with Doctor Who today for me. There's no chance to
Let's
breathe,
go,
to scale
Ruby.
things out because they have to
Yeah.
get it done within 45 minutes. Bang, 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 bang. Plot holes, plot holes. As Golden Age Geek was saying, there's plot holes there, plot holes there. There's plot holes everywhere. And then you have to go and watch the making of show to understand what the plot was. That's not
I
how
mean-
it should be.
I thought last week's was actually pretty good, and I did like it. But yeah, it was just they didn't have a chance to develop people and to get more empathy towards the other people protagonists in it, if you like. And yeah, you're right. It needed to be. I hate to say it, the whole format: 4
Yeah.
30-minute episodes or 6 30-minute episodes. Yeah, they compromise it all the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Problem P saying the radicals at the BBC and Bad Wolf will never allow us escapism when activists are obsessed with never letting us get away from their incessant noise. yeah, I mean, show business is gripped by these far left political activists, unfortunately. And I don't see that ending at any time soon, especially when they're signing letters to challenging a Supreme Court piece of fact. We've got Stephen Noddler. SO, hello you. The monster wasn't scary or a threat to anything. That's what I'm trying to get at, Stephen. Thank you for that. Those monsters were so good they should have been.
Yeah, I thought they were good. It's just they didn't make it scary in that episode, but they were scary.
I think what killed it as well, having the activist dressed as the monster, that killed it a bit in terms of atmosphere and tension, didn't it? Really?
No, it did. And I have to say that was the comment that my girls made. My girls said, because I was joking about hiding behind the sofa, because I did actually do that. They made a joke that you wouldn't hide behind the sofa for this ever.
Well, you wouldn't, would you? Nobody's watching.
How did his mates know how to make those relatively accurate suits? Because when would they have seen the real creature? And if he described it, he wouldn't have described it accurately, but they were accurate, I suppose. You know, it just didn't follow through, did it? Like so much of this era, it just didn't follow through at all.
It's also great they're all fantastic actors, all the bit in the pub with Ruby and trying to convince her that he adores her and all that kind of stuff. They're all fantastic actors, aren't they?
Philip Latham, everybody. Philip Latham, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, was back in Doctor Who. He hasn't been seen in Doctor Who since 1983, because of course he was in the Ark of Infinity and the Five Doctors. There he is behind the bar. Not Philip Latham, sorry.
Paul Jericho,
Paul Jericho, thanks.
I was going to say Philip Latham's been dead for years.
Yeah, no, Paul Jericho. Sorry, getting it. But there he was, and it was lovely. I haven't seen him on TV in so long, and it was nice to see him. But I blinked.
Yeah, and you missed him. Yeah.
And he's such a good, capable actor. He could have had. Yeah. Now there is an actor that could be heading up UNIT.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you want to see more of his career, watch Triangle. He's very good in that as well.
Oh, I love Triangle. Kate O'Mara, of course, in that as well. Loved it. Love it. Bring it back. No, don't actually. No, because woeful. Matthew Burrows said, bring back the Mara because the show is not scary anymore. I wouldn't want to see the Mara back in this. Can you imagine? They water it down. But that's what I'm talking about, everybody. That quality. I remember I was 80. What was it? 82, wasn't it, for Kinder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 12. And Kinder was fascinating for me to the point where I was scared. All that black and white stuff, those wonderful actors, Janet in the negative pose, that's what introduced me to what I think we now called psychology. And all this sort of stuff, because it was just brilliant script, but it was scary, wasn't it, Matthew? And G35's with us saying, can you imagine what the Hinchcliffe team could have done with the Disney budget? Oh god.
Oh, don't even go there.
But would they have been as resourceful? Because I think a lot of early Doctor Who now, I don't think we realised it at the time, was resourceful because they didn't have the budget.
That's the problem, and I think we've said this before, haven't we, Who viewers? The fact that now it has this massive budget, it seems to be a little bit more lazy.
No, they're not trying the scripts.
The scripts are the problem, yeah.
Lots of you in the chat tonight. Thank you so much for this. We've also got this one from Carwin. The overlapping arc to the finale to tie it all up is not needed. It's not going to be clever enough or shocking enough to pay off. And as I say, nobody's watching. And Third Doctor Ian, yes, that was one of many plot holes. How did they know what the Shriek looked like?
Yeah. Didn't work.
Yeah, because they hadn't publicised it, had they? Units.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just again, as Golden Age Geek mentioned earlier, it's a plot hole. It's convenient, isn't it? And it does show you that. I don't think it's just get there. Andy Radar, welcome to Who's Views. It's good to see you. Thank you for your super chat. I'm watching a bit behind. Oh, really? Oh, I see. And whilst this wasn't news, Martha's family was suffering from PTSD after experiencing the year that never happened. Did they?
Wasn't that erased though that year? Nobody remembered it, did they?
I thought so.
They had PTSD. Because they remembered the year, didn't they? Because they were in the time reset thing.
Yeah, they did remember because that's why the mum wanted to shoot the master, wasn't it?
That's right. So they remember all that. So I would imagine that would be stressful and tension. Yeah.
You're
But
shit.
again, it's just very
Yeah,
modern
this guy
Doctor Who.
did.
This is where, if you're new to the channel, hello, welcome. I can't stand all this soap opera stuff that's come into Doctor Who since 2005. I don't want to
Yeah.
know about family. I don't want to know about
I
boys.
found
and
it
girls.
really
soap
boring,
opera
and the
stuff.
romantic parts as well. God Almighty!
Yeah.
If
Call me
kids are
old-
watching, especially boys, who were really bored. Tell you that. Yeah.
Call me old-fashioned. I don't care. I'm old-fashioned. I don't care. But thank you, Andy Radar. It's good to see you. Philip Roy's with us as well. If you don't know, he's got a Doctor Who fan-made film coming back, very 90s. Yes, it's coming back, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Philip's saying to us, they made the monsters fake and it killed what tension had been built up. They did
Yeah.
exactly the same with the fake threat to the pub in 73 yards. Oh, good
Mhm.
point. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, isn't it, guys? When you're writing things at the same time, you can't get the feedback.
Yeah.
And you're in that bubble as well. Literally,
Mhm.
you are in that bubble, so you think everything's fabulous.
There you go, buddy.
I think Russell's too worried about doing Doctor Who cliches, which is a shame because that's how it
We have
works.
to
You know what I
turn
mean?
on the water.
That's Doctor Who. You know.
Yeah.
Tyler Durden smiles with us. If the monster
turn
effect
on
lights and
water.
electro equipment, how could they use a taser to take it down? And also, how did the pub lights flicker on and off if it was two guys in a costume?
Mm.
Answers on a postcard to Whose Views, BBC Television, London W12 8QT.
And none of this will be
You have-
explained by the finale either, will it? We'll still be hanging, waiting to find out what's going on. Yeah.
It's somebody else that's new to us. It's Stride-I. Nice to see you. If Kate stunned the creature, that scene would have made sense. But to see her arms crossed while someone was eaten live on air, I would want units shut down. I think that was the whole thing about the episode, wasn't it? This whole thing about them trying to be clever with this whole live podcasting stuff, which actually does happen in the real world. We know it, where these idiots go out and glue themselves to a motorway and then film it. I'd run them over, wouldn't you? But anyway, it's a case of it just annoys me, that whole thing. Where they do, because this guy's insane, and the fact that they were mentioning these things like hashtags close unit or whatever, and it was all resolved a little bit quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you guys think of that whole narrative that was going on there?
What I thought was interesting was the think tank thing. Was that meant to be a reference to Robot or not, or was that?
I
random?
thought that. I wondered that. Got to be
Oh,
honest,
was
but I
it?
think that was probably a bit too deep.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I maybe get
But
too
then
much
knowing
credit for that.
RTD, knowing
Yeah.
RTD and how he's mined the classic series whilst telling you don't need to know anything about it, it probably wouldn't surprise me if it was a reference to Think Tank.
Hey, do you know what? That's brilliant, because that flitted through my mind for seconds, and I thought, no, I've got that wrong. But do you know what?
Ah!
It probably is, isn't it?
I think we all thought it probably. Yeah.
What do you think in the chat, everybody? It probably is, isn't it? Because I just put it across as one of those sort of whatever, and dismiss it very quickly. Think tank, but yeah, from Tom Baker's first one, it probably is. You're right, guys. It is RTD playing around again, isn't it?
I lost
As much
it.
as I don't want to boost the ratings by watching it again, I mean, it might be worthwhile seeing if the Think Tank logo from Robot turns up anywhere.
Well, listen, don't forget, everybody, if you want to watch it again, you can. Just do it after the 28-day ratings are in, because it'll mess up our show.
The other thing I think's a bit tired now is, I have to say, it was fine in the Pertwee era to have everything set at that time because he was trapped in Earth and his unit and all that. But I'm getting a little bit tired of it all being in current day,
Oh,
with
yeah.
current day issues and current day trauma and current day nonsense.
Politics.
I
Yeah.
just would like it to be, or have a feel. I mean, the one chance they did have to do that was with the 60s episode,
This is
but it
not
didn't feel
current
like
day
the 60s. You know?
What the one with the drag queen?
Beatles one, yeah.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel like that era. So they're not
Yeah.
even getting the historical episodes right. So
Yeah.
I know, I suppose I'm a little bit tired with the Earth now and current day.
And yet last week's Well worked very well for them, because
It did.
We said on the show last week, in our review last week for the Well, that was a better one.
Hmm.
I'm going to put it out there this week to say this one was on a par in a sense, but I think I'm going to be mean and say it's just simply because Shooty Bloody Gatwa wasn't in it. So
And when he was in it, good God, yeah.
well, yeah, well, let's come to that in a minute. But
Yeah.
when they can do it, and the public now, the British public now, well, they're not watching. Let's face it, 1.5 million.
Oh, they're not watching.
They have long gone. We've said that before on this show. But even if the Not Wees did tune in, they would expect the Doctor to be on an alien planet. But as I've said before, they can't even see who the bloody Doctor is. And in this one, he wasn't in it to the last 2 minutes.
And
You
even
know?
then, he was
Plot hole,
vastly out of
says
character.
Real Steve. The guy on the inside must have taken pictures of the real aliens so they could dress up as fake aliens to disprove the real aliens seen by the insider.
That's just
Thank you. You've just solved my. I'll sleep tonight. Actually, now, Real Steve, I will. I'll sleep. Thank you for that, because that kept me up all night worrying about that. I have to tell you.
But they genuinely didn't think that the aliens were real.
Yeah.
So they would just ask him what he was taking photos of. They'd still think it was fake, wouldn't they?
Oh God, now I'm getting a headache.
Why did they think they weren't real?
We've got here from Disturbance Film TV. Welcome to Who's Views. It's nice to see you. If Conrad had an inside man in
And I
unit,
finally played
surely
it.
he would have confirmed that all the alien stuff was true. Oh God, I can't stand all this now. It's right, isn't it? There are so many plot holes. There really are.
But it's because they try everything far, far, far too intricate and
They're
complex.
trying to be too clever, aren't they? That's the thing.
Like, just do something
No.
simple. You know, it's meant to be simple. It's meant to be good guy fights nasty aliens. So,
I
yeah.
don't even want to play
Yeah, a
anymore.
Time Lord in his TARDIS
I actually
fighting
just wanna quit
monsters.
this game.
Yeah.
Austin Woods, ratings for Lucky Day were 1.5 million, the lowest in Doctor Who in history until next week. Well, where's it going to go? We will be playing the ratings game very shortly, everybody, whether Whotastic Panel and you in the chat will be able to say this. And GD is with us saying, I was lucky I never saw it.
That was your lucky day then, yeah.
Oh, do you know what? I've said it before and I've said it again. It is such a sad time to be a Doctor Who fan, because here we are and we're not into it. Lots of you in the chat with us tonight, not into it. If you are into it, please come and tell us why. What are we missing? What are you seeing? But it's so sad, because more importantly than any of us as fans, the British public have gone. It's obvious. 1.5. As I said before, if this was any other show, especially 10, 15 years ago, this thing would be on BBC Two next week.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a shame. If the ratings don't matter, says Heretic, and people's viewing habits have changed, then why do the 28-day figures ever back that up? Again, as we've said in our headline shows, as you know, Heretic, the overnights do matter big time. The ratings do matter to those people, especially these little people who run around the show business now called accountants, because they seem to be running everything. It's not about creativity anymore. It's about making money, bums on seats. Everything matters, and these ratings do matter. And that's why I personally feel that they've brought in these 4 device things, the 28-day rating, to try and bump it up. But with 1.5 million in 28 days, it's not going to bump up. As we've seen with the other episodes now, it's not going to bump up that much, is it? It really isn't.
What would be interesting is, we said before, if the Eurovision episode doesn't get broadcast because of the football, how will that be represented on the iPlayer? You know, because you can't trust that, can you? So, how are we going to gauge how much they actually got from the iPlayer? You know,
that's one for Bedouin.
Yeah.
I'm not
Good luck
worried
with
about that. That's his job. Lex Kane is saying to us, RTD is a copycat, stealing ideas or reusing storylines. It's getting a bit boring now every week. And last night, I'm going to say it last night, the first thing I noticed in this particular episode last night was the actual fact that they'd taken from the first episode of the K9 series, K9, written by Bob Baker, back in 20 years ago. That first episode, Regeneration, the monsters in that episode mark their territory, mark their victims by spewing something at their victim, and then they go and find them. And here it is again in this episode, and I just thought, oh, I know where RTD's got that one.
I have to say, I tried watching that series, and no disrespect to Bob Baker, but it was awful. I'm sorry.
Well, you're going to be watching it again on this channel. Stay with us.
Oh no!
Marie UK, thank you for your super chat. How do you not need to know about Classic Who when they are constantly doing weak callbacks to it? Ian's been saying this for ages now, haven't you, Ian?
I have really. I've been wittering on repeatedly, but it's a valid point, isn't it? If he hadn't gone out and said that you specifically don't need to know anything about it, then it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
But he did, and then he's doing what he's doing, and I don't know whether or not he's just talking to his sort of like bedwetter audience, where he doesn't want them to go and look at the classic series, so they don't realise that he's ripped off other far more talented people's ideas as much as he has.
I want to know, I hope a lot of them are going back to find original Doctor Who, I don't know. It's going to be interesting what happens with the You and Eden channel tomorrow with Spearhead and Space, and if that's going to carry on. I mean, if are they going to carry? Because we've said on the show there are certain shows, and I'm going to point to Lass of the Summer Wine on a repeat channel that is getting more than 1.5 million.
Yeah.
And it's 10, 15 years old. This is honestly, this is really sad times we've got
I
coming.
have to say, the U channel's excellent.
Oh, I love it. I'm catching up with all sorts of things.
I'm
Joan.
currently watching The Bill. It's like, I didn't remember The Bill being this good, but it's actually really, really good.
You're watching Who's News. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. Oh, this is probably somebody from the Doctor Who Gay fans group on Facebook. They hate me. Let's see who's on the phone. Hello, Who's Views Reviews. Can I help you?
Is this the Who's Views YouTube channel? I'd
Yes,
just
it
like
is.
to say I am an anonymous viewer who is not watching because I don't take notice of online content. I ignore it. Why do that? Why breathe in the toxicity? Why breathe in the exhaust fumes? No, there's no need to worry about the numbers, the overnights, the consolidated. There's really nothing to worry about at all because television is different these days. We don't register overnight viewership. It's more effective to measure that how many people say hashtag RIP Doctor Who. We found we got higher numbers that way, so that's the new metric. So whoever the geniuses are who are making Doctor Who, that's what they're doing. I can't wait to see what they've got in store for season 3, 4, 5, and beyond. It's going to be exciting, it's going to be fun, it's going to be slippery, and we cannot wait. Anyway, I'm going now to not take notice of online content.
This guy's phoned in before, hasn't he? I recognise that voice from somewhere. Thank you.
I bet he's reversed the charges as well.
Yeah. I'm sure he has definitely phoned in before, and I'm not quite sure, but yes. Well, thank you for phoning in and thank you for watching. Really appreciate it, but I think you're talking a load of poo. Honestly, outrageous stuff going on there. But yes, God, 1.5 million. The overnights do matter. It doesn't matter what anybody says; they do matter. Thanks for watching us. It's good to see you all. Lots of you in the chat tonight. Oh goodness me! Moriarty's with us, saying a big plus
I
one
can
for
actually
Ian
just
on
play
this one.
Amorphous.
Indeed.
I can
Whilst
actually
in
just play
Woods,
Amorphous.
Thank you very much.
accidentally made Amorphous.
and in Lucky Day, they used the Gallifrey theme for like 5 seconds when Think Tank appear. It makes no sense, do they? I haven't noticed Murray Gold's.
Yeah.
I didn't
No.
stop that.
No, I don't remember it. Do you know anybody else know?
No.
Fire,
No. Was it Barry White? Silver Wolf, how much? And Forbidden Man saying that was Kirsty's husband. No, he makes more sense, I tell you. Matthew was saying it's Boris Johnson. Was it? Goodness me, I wondered. Or it was the Garm on the phone, says Duncan.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Matt, the Silent Wee Music King, is with us saying, I'd rather have Shrek in Doctor Who than the Shriek. And Marie UK saying, is that Doctor Who Mania back? Oh, bless him. Is he? Is he back with us? Doctor Who Mania joined us last week on the show, of course, and challenged us, which we love. We loved. If he hasn't come back, he didn't like it. Oh, bless him. Third Doctor Andrew is joining us saying, hiya. So what we're chatting about today, we'll have a guess. We are here, of course, talking about last night's Doctor Who episode, which was called Lucky Day. But cue all the jokes, of course. It wasn't at all. It's a sad day.
Now we just
Graham,
add in
evening all, keeping a low
White.
profile, has not watched this season, but I'm thoroughly
Or
enjoying everyone's
Morpheus.
opinions as
No.
always. Well, thank you so much, Graham. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Java Bean is saying to us that sounded like a weirdo on the phone. Well, yeah. Yeah. And David Shaw is saying to us, is Doctor Who back in the cinema again? It has been announced. Yes, the last 2 episodes, David, if you want to go and get your tickets, are now available at your local cinema. If they're participating, you can go and see the last 2 episodes at the end of May. It's the
I
end
saw
of May,
someone.
end of June.
I saw someone commenting on last year's cinema release, and it made me laugh because they said it only made £36,000, but they reckoned that was quite good. That surely isn't good for a cinema, is it? Really?
Oh,
Would
they
you
get
say?
the
Well,
bleep
the
power and
repeats of the Peter Cushing films, to use that
Pete
term,
Rock
got more than that.
was this.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Well, there you are then,
Pete
because
Burns.
it's not going to make any money, is it? Let's be honest.
Special damage.
Again, this is another channel that was saying how wonderful it
Special
is, you know. And
Another
that-
channel, what are you talking about?
I think it's another channel. There's one other channel, I think it is. Yeah, just one. Yeah.
How bizarre. I had no idea about that.
So
What's he
he'll
talking about,
talk and
everybody?
burn things.
We've got lots still to come for you as well, including your scores on the TARDIS stores. That's all coming up. Crying. Well, crying. We have to say that miraculously,
Bean, bean.
Ncuti Gatwa's doctor did not cry in last night's episode. So everybody was wrong with last week's crying game. Emilio went with 4, Ian went with 3, Paul went with 3, I went with 2. So yes, we all got it wrong because the answer was 0. I think we're all stunned by that, aren't we?
He
But he
didn't
wasn't
actually going to
there.
cry when he was being confronted by the villain at the
I
end.
can't
He
go
was
wrong.
busting into tears there. I'm sure he was.
I was expecting it, I must say, but
Yeah.
that does not stop us because
What,
next
you
week we're going to be
about
looking
to
at
pop
this.
off?
How
I'm
many
about to
times are
start
you going to
popping
cry
off.
next week? Let's have a look. It's time to play the crying game. All right, here we go then. How many times will Ncuti Gatwa cry, or his doctor cry, in next week's episode, which is called The Story and the Engine?
He's going to cry because they're going to get his hair cut wrong, aren't they?
This is the one next
It's
week
in the
that's going to be
barbers.
set in a barber shop. Don't worry,
You
we all
mean-
went back to the last night.
This
Go
is
on,
so
Joe.
tough.
How many separate cries or how many tears
Okay,
he
you
lets
got it.
cool in
It's
his
in it.
eyes?
Well, join them together because that's too much of a good question and I can't deal with it. So whatever you want it to be. How many times do you think he's going to cry? Okay, so we'll start with Kirsty. How many times do you think he's going to cry in The Story and the
Maybe we
Engine?
should
I
upgrade
am
the-
new to this
With
game,
electric.
You are?
guns?
and this will be my first
Under
full
Xena?
episode of
That should
him
be pretty
next
okay.
week of
Pokemon
season
Alpha
2.
plus the heat rocks and
So-
burn things.
I am going to say Stab and Dark 2. I will say 2.5, and what I mean by half is like 2 proper cries and 1 like dramatic EastEnders style
Oh, I
tear.
need him for.
Oh, gosh, she's really getting deep for the first one, isn't she?
we can
Lots
also
of you in the
just
chat
all
already putting this in. Thank you very much. Douglas Smith is saying the title sounds like Thomas the Tank. It does, The Story and the Engine. Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
It won't be as good as that, I'd imagine. Yeah.
No.
Heidi Boy is with us saying, I haven't watched any of this series, but I have to say last night's episode was by far the most recent one I haven't seen. Thank you for that, Tidy Boy. That's brilliant.
I'll
Lots
have
of
to
you,
go
lots of you
fire
putting their
go
marks in
electric.
there. Jodie, we're going to go to you. What do you think is going to cry?
I think it's just going to be once, but it's going to be
That
a
guy.
close up on the tear welling in his eye. Before
Right,
it trickles.
one, and close up. There we go. Okay, I'll just make a note of that. Okay, Paul, how many times is the doctor going to cry next week?
Well, as he didn't cry last week, I think he's grown up now, don't you?
Oh, no,
And he
he's
won't
still-
cry again.
Oh,
I'm kidding, no, twice.
So how many do you think, sorry?
Twice.
You think he's going to cry twice?
Yeah.
And third Dr. Ian, what do you think he's going to do?
I'll say 3 times, twice for the story and once because they'll be so happy that there's no white people in it because we're all evil. No, 3.
I don't like all these segregational things that show business do, you know, where black only plays and stuff. It's too apartheid.
Who needs this?
I have
reminiscent
to-
me.
Can I interject with this? I nearly died online when they were talking about next week's episode on TikTok, and someone went, "Oh yeah, this is the Wakanda episode."
If only.
Yeah.
Just put it on.
I suppose they're being called Istonot and all sorts of things now, won't they? I tell you.
It'd be great if the
Honestly.
Black Panther wasn't it, Kirsty, don't you think?
It says any extra
Gary Lee
HP
is here.
gets
Hello, Gary.
converted
It's nice to see
to
you. And
special
it's
damage?
saying I cry every time it's
plus
aired.
30% HP.
You're not the only one.
100% shield,
The only one that's
30%
getting that,
speed
yeah.
shield,
Go.
one card against
Oh God, 4
every
more
HP
to go,
deals
and then we got
special
5
damage, whatever.
of this other bloody thing on the way. Ian, sorry, what did you say, Ian?
3.
You're saying 3. I will check with Emilio and Miles off air what they want to do, and I'm going to say 2. Okay, 2 for the doctor crying in this episode next week. Somebody's bound to get eaten by a giant spider and they'll go. Thank you very much, everybody, for your scores there. That was very fun. So carry on. We've got lots still coming up for you as well. Gosh, yeah. Let's get on to this thing
I'm giving it to you.
that really I did not like for several reasons. This speech at the end of the show. Had this been properly written, because I reckon this was, and I know it's written by Pete, but I reckon this could have been said by RTD when he's picking up some TQ Cult Award. And that's what it reminded me of. But had this been a speech that was delivered correctly and played by another Doctor, i.e. anyone of the first four, and possibly even Smith and Capaldi, I think this could have been delivered and had more of an impact. Please discuss.
Yeah. I thought that they probably, Pete, and with from the Lords and Masters of Above, they probably sat there and gone, "We are so clever, we are so cool and edgy bringing this out." And they're probably thinking, "Oh, this is his big speech moment that they all in their legacies have this big dramatic speech that everyone still talks about years down the line." Like we've had like Eccleston at the Part of the Ways, Matt Smith, pretty much like when his first episode, Rings at Ackerton, Capaldi, anytime he opened up his mouth, they were thinking that we're probably having something that this is punchy, is edgy. And really, if you watch it again, or if you watched it last night, you just kind of feel like when they're there, you tried to be a big boy, but you didn't deliver.
I kind of felt the same. I said it already. The outfit doesn't help him. I know you had an outfit similar, JT, you mentioned already, but I think if he had his leather jacket on, but he had earlier on in the episode, he looks great in that. That would have helped a little bit to look less ridiculous, but it was delivered really weakly, honestly. He's no gravitas as the Doctor whatsoever. Jodie, I've not seen Sex Education, so I've never seen anything else apart from this, so I can't gauge what he's like as an actor doing something else. But in this, he is not the Doctor. I've said that so many times before.
I would agree, and I still don't know because I only have Sex Education and Doctor Who to go by. I still don't know whether he is a good actor or whether he was just playing himself in Sex Education.
Yeah, possibly,
I honestly don't know, and I don't want to say because I could be entirely wrong. It may be this is what he plays, and that is all he plays. And I'm going to say right now, I can't remember what he said in the speech. I'm really sorry, so I can't contribute to this.
Well, this is good because Third Doctor Andrew said, "What did he say? Tell me, someone." I have to be honest, I can't remember word for word verbatim. Ian and Paul might be able to. I can't, but I remember being insulted. Because basically what it was written to be, if you don't think like us, if you are not with us, you are, and they did in Doctor Who use the F word. And I'm not talking the FUC, I'm talking the FAN, you know, the nasty people from the 1930s, 40s in Germany. They use that word. We're not allowed to use it on this platform, I believe, but they use that word. And that's a strong word. And there are some of us here that have, family. So it's not that far removed, really. Okay, you know, in a sense, okay, it's 80 years, but, you know, do you know what I'm saying? There's still an influence. Those are those that grew up with people that were affected by that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is where it comes to me again, guys. This is, I found every single word of this bloody speech hypocritical. Because it reminded me of one of these things he kicks off about, RTD kicks off about when he is receiving a TQ Cult Award. And everything about it was, excuse me, it's not that side of the political spectrum that's caused all the bloody problems in society. It's yours. It's the far left with your delusions and your ideologies and your dictates. It's you lot. And I just thought, how dare you preach to your now, thankfully, non-existent audience. And I was so annoyed about that. And the fact is, he couldn't pull it off either. He didn't deliver it. It was awful. Absolutely awful. We've got here as well, from Problem Being, the speech was not the Doctor. That was pure hatred and bile from RTD Gatwa. The Doctor showed mercy to Davros, but here he wants a conservative white male to burn Ash. It was disgusting. Yeah, there was an awful thing in there where there was this other bit about I'm fighting this, I'm fighting that, and I know what that means. In real life, I know what that means. It's them fighting realism.
Yeah.
This is what his thing will be like next week, this next year. This TQ drama is going to be full of this nonsense. And
Man,
here
you
it
play
is
some
once
sort of
again
ghost. Come
in
on.
Doctor Who, a family science fiction show. I was so angry. Andy Radar, thank you so much for your super chat.
We have to
I
drop
thought
him
this was
more
going to be
this
his
time.
big moment, but more like drizzle than the oncoming storm. Oncoming storm, Andy. Do you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. Can you have imagined if Matt Smith or Capaldi had delivered that?
Yeah.
And it was slightly tighter. Again, get a script editor, get the emotion out of it from these far left ideologists. That would have been.
But it's
Ain't
it's
that
like the,
character? Sorry,
it's like the
Paul.
moment in the first episode, the Robot Revolution, when they laugh at the fact of that the guy who's the villain in it gets mopped up by the Hoover. You know, it's like that's awful. You know, it's like
Again,
and they laugh at his death. It's all, yeah.
It shows such a high level of
You're
just
you?
plain nastiness,
And you.
and to a certain demographic, and it's very, very clear that they are extremely far left. But we know from experience, you just have to look around. If you aren't of their ilk, then they do try and shut you down. If you try and debate with them, they will often lash out physically and get violent. They will try and stifle debate, and they will try to be the dictators in the room. They are nasty, nasty, nasty
How come I
people a
didn't
lot of
find
the
a
time
single slug mode?
that you can see. But they're the ones. It's gaslighting, because they
Yes.
do all these things and then accuse the others of doing it, and they then set themselves up as the moral saviors. And that's what he was doing here, you know, describing him as being or that type of being exhausting. And the problem is that empowers the slightly mentally challenged people, some of whom I alluded to earlier, who actually go online afterwards and start spouting off. If you voted for Trump, or if you're a reform supporter, you are scum of the earth, you know, and tying them to this character that this doctor or this person acting as the doctor says you should or you'll burn to ash, and basically taking pleasure in saying you're going to die at the age of 49. You know, it's not Doctor Who. It's not the Doctor. It was a very, very, very nasty political speech, I thought.
I think
and it was just wrong.
Sorry, I think that's a great point you've just made there about that, and I had forgotten that, and I want to bring that into it. I also want to bring this point in from JFO. Why did Shooty's Doctor get so rattled by Conrad? For all he's seen over his lives, why would he be rattled by that? Now, this is why it doesn't come across. This is why it flops. So the point that Ian's making there, this was a side. Now, this is where they'll all go on, oh, this is where Shooty's Doctor becomes darker. It becomes no, because it didn't land, because he couldn't play it properly. And with a better actor and a better script, it could have done, because he deliberately, the character of the Doctor,
It didn't
deliberately
land
gets
because he was
back at
becoming
Conrad
darker
with
over a
revenge,
podcaster.
which again, like the snogging the fella last year, is not necessarily the Doctor's character.
No.
He gets back at the fella by telling him, I know when you're going to die, which is not going to happen because his future is then changed at the end of the episode. So that's not going to happen. That's an alternative timeline. But he does it deliberately. To answer your question, JFO, why did he get rattled? It's because apparently somewhere along the line, before he meets Belinda, he's realized that Conrad has upset Ruby. That didn't come off very well either.
That's
Any other
retarded.
actor in the role, apart from Whittaker, because I can't comment about her, would have been a little bit more incensed. I was thinking at this point, guys, I don't know about you, do you remember that scene, that end scene from The Family of Blood?
Oh
Yes.
yes.
Well, can I just interject with that then? Actually, just it came to me from reading comments last night, because there's
Go
a
on.
lot of stuff going on like Instagram and TikTok that actually the majority of feedback that's been the episode's been terrible, and there's been a few people, rightly so, they're allowed to enjoy it. They've been enjoying it, and they've been making
Good for them.
reels of clips of Conrad and his speech and the end speech. And one of the comments that I read was, just be glad the 15th Doctor is in his therapy era, because any of them would have crushed him. Think a la Family of Blood.
Well, it's true. That's actually true. But hang on a minute. Again, this whole therapy, that's gone out the door because nobody cares. I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? But no, if one of somebody like Conrad had upset one of the Doctor's companions, because the doctor lost this argument. Let's face it, I was shocked by that resolution where Conrad turns around and says, "What? Get off my world." And the doctor just has this sign of, clicks his finger, and then the whole thing has disappeared. The doctor lost the conversation. Conrad won. No.
Conrad
That's
cooked
not what would
him.
have happened. Any other of
He
the
sure
doctors
did
would have
lose
had
the
that boy,
conversation.
and
He
would
said,
have
"Send
been
me home."
terrified.
Then he put him
cringing
back.
in his cell, going mad.
Ooh.
In terms of narrative, there's something that Conrad said that got me thinking a little bit. When he said, "Have you met Belinda yet?"
They'll die at the end because I just don't like her. I would actually care if it was Ruby.
Yeah.
I'm probably
I'd
going
only,
to call this now, aren't I? Do you know what I
I'd
mean?
only seen that little bit of Belinda at the beginning of Lucky Day. I haven't, and I will not watch. I cannot be arsed to watch the first 3 that have come out. She annoyed me, and she's going to annoy me, I know, next week.
Oh, goody! Because we're going to be reviewing it. Yeah, juicy talk coming out on Who's Views. Thanks, Legion of James, for your comment. And the Peter Ventman fan site has been with us saying everything the Doctor is against, he's turned into.
Yeah.
Certainly in that, just because it wasn't written properly and it certainly wasn't played correctly. Ian, Joe, do you agree with that, or are you different?
I
left
God.
the game.
I just
Fucking
wasn't.
criminal.
I don't really even remember it very well. I'm going to say I watched the whole episode, and I remember the speech being inside the TARDIS, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I did remember thinking at the time that I didn't appreciate the Doctor being vitriolic. I didn't feel that was a sentiment that the Doctor should enter into, that he's meant to be somebody who sees things from above, from a more sort of objective plane.
Yeah.
And he also is quite indulgent of, in the past, people making mistakes and people going down the wrong way, if you like. And I just really found it hard to reconcile the Doctor last night with the Doctor that sat in Genesis of the Daleks debating whether to get rid of the Daleks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It didn't fit for me.
Yeah.
So
another bit to answer explanation for me was, did that actually happen, or was that in Conrad's mind?
No, it happened because
I wasn't quite sure about that.
Anita Dobson confirms it's happened. I reckon the way it could have done is that the Doctor has materialized around Conrad.
Yeah.
Because it definitely happened. Or he might have used some sort of new device where he's projecting himself But I think I like to go with that old-fashioned thing of the TARDIS is materialized around, because that room was big enough to get the box in, the police box.
Yeah.
Let's face
Yeah.
it. Listen to us being geeky, everybody.
But he was stood next to his bed in the cell, wasn't he? And the bed wasn't next to him in the TARDIS. So you do wonder, was the TARDIS selective about what it materialised around? Because when he materialised around Rose, he also scooped up a Dalek as well that was stood near, didn't he? So,
or did they just get the positioning
I'm typing
wrong?
in their chat now. I'm trolling.
maybe. But what I found odd about that was that, right, he's gone to the trouble of materialising around him, but then he just snaps his fingers and it's gone. In which case, why didn't he snap his fingers and get there? And what's all this snapping fingers anyway? Are we back to magic?
I know. Yeah, it didn't land. That whole scene didn't.
He said
land.
Conrad wasn't
and it's a
believable
shame
as a
because
podcaster.
in a sense,
What
the episode had been
podcast?
building up, although not properly. Again, a good script editor would have seen this. It was building up to the meeting of Conrad with the Doctor after all those years. I possibly would have left that to the finale because it's obvious that Conrad's on his way back because he gets, spoiler alert if you're interested, he gets freed by the Anita Dobson character, Mrs. Flood.
The other thing that didn't make sense,
the whole story doesn't make sense.
Hello, Enspiel.
was the fact that what happened to turn Conrad into that person that wasn't explored.
They skipped
and
that
therefore
whole
it didn't
setup.
Really
They
work
didn't.
for me
We don't know
when it was
why
all
Conrad
revealed.
turned evil or
And
doesn't
the other
believe.
thing I found incredibly tiresome was you know how everybody pursues everybody on Facebook and everything these days. It's really vitriolic and nasty and ugh. I just don't feel I need to see that enacted in this program either.
No, you don't.
Because I think you don't realise the depths that human beings can plumb to until you read comments on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Well, true.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as well, with the Doctor, this is why Doctor Who shouldn't have these elements in it, because that was
Yeah.
purely aimed at all of us, the
Save
fans
your
that are
own
leaving the show, the
customers.
fans that don't like the
Mhm.
show, the British public
guy
that don't
likes
like the
horror,
show.
Fame
It was
Rock,
purely
doesn't
aimed
he?
at everybody that don't agree with RTD and his cronies. It's as simple as that, and we see through it. We know what
Well
you're
said,
saying,
brother
and we
JT.
reject it. You know you're not very happy at the moment, but you've got to get on with it because it's called real life, and we live still
Well,
just
we
in a
know
democracy.
alien exists.
Grow
We got
up, just
famous
grow.
aliens
And this is
exist.
why it shouldn't be in Doctor Who. Good God, I
Literally.
hope that the next version of Doctor Who is Doctor Who and just gives us
He said, we don't know.
a
We
science
just don't
fiction
know.
show where he's battling monsters. Good.
We
produce
were.
one.
It's
Can you imagine if they all came
established
back
canon.
together
People know
for a
aliens
series that
exist
was,
in this
did
world.
you see
of
that
Doctor
monster?
Who.
And did you see him doing that? And oh, look, that villain there is doing this. I wonder what's going to happen in the next episode, rather than having to deal with all this nonsense that we have to deal with in our real lives.
Well,
Look,
surely they
that-
can't get wrong
Aliens
again.
happen.
You know.
They can't afford to.
Yeah.
They have to get any next iteration of the show 100% correct, otherwise it has gone for good. BBC Studios, are you listening? whosviews1@gmail.com. Give us an email. Mudcrab, you need to earn your big speech moment. You can't just turn up. And Smiley people, I've just seen this, and this upsets me. I was always proud of being half Jewish, but now that's seen as bad by the left. Never on this channel. You are welcome here. And no, we will not tolerate that bullshit that you have to endure right now because of these radical left-wing ideologists, because it is them. No, you are very welcome here, and I will
Agree to
stand next to you.
disagree
I'm
is
not
just
speaking for
a
anybody else on the
cold
channel. I will
response.
stand next to
That
you.
means I can't argue
I'm
Never
with you.
against you.
I'm
That's what that
never ever
means.
going to allow anybody to do it. So, no, nothing wrong with being Jewish, and that's the end of it. And these people that think you are not welcome on this show. End of story.
Yikes.
Right, got that off my
How is
chest.
it
I was
wrong
just
to
a bit
be
annoyed by
Jewish?
that. Wrestler Daniel, why is the
Can't be
RTD
wrong
so
No.
to be
scared?
Jewish.
Right, you need both left and right to balance society. Why are they all
Because
now?
you're
I
not
get this.
working.
So many young people now. You see this all the time. Why are they frightened of
How about
the
Team
right
Jesus,
wing?
baby?
Why?
They
I mean,
haven't been
don't-
educated to
that's where-
debate. They haven't been educated to debate or discuss or hear a different opinion.
Or just to have a conversation, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those
They don't
people
like it.
are
Yeah.
those people are scared of people like us, and we're all not like in the right. I'd say we're all probably middle, sprinkling in both ways that we balance both sides.
Well,
But they're
I've said it
scared
many
of
times.
Yeah.
Kirsten, I'm going to be honest with you. I've said it many times. Most of my life, I have been left wing, right? Verging on liberal, because I am a homosexual, same-sex attracted man fighting for gay rights in a time when there weren't any. The late 80s, through the 90s, even the beginning of this century. I like saying that. Now I find myself politically homeless, for one thing, and also more right. Because the world has changed around me and I can't go where the left has gone. I cannot follow them. So I'm actually thinking now I must be middle right
Who planted the
because I
50
know what a woman is.
and
I know what a
Indian
man is.
talisman?
You know, I know that balance, equilibrium is important. It's very
was his
bizarre. And then
monkey
I've been
game.
called ist,
Oh.
ot, phobe for years for being a same-sex man or other stuff, a same-sex attracted man or other stuff. So it's all mixed up, but it's all come from the left, and that shocked me and disappointed me. I
The
mean, it all
best
comes, the
character.
vitriol comes from there. And meanwhile, the real bad right, they're extremely quiet, aren't they? You know, you
yeah.
don't hear much about them, really, unless you're in deep Europe, I would imagine. Paul Rose, exactly as I commented earlier, JT, I felt like the Doctor's speech was aimed at fans or anyone not liking the series. Plot hole, how did the Doctor know what was happening?
Yeah.
The whole
Intervene.
thing.
I found the lack of
doctor should have known
intervention
this
very,
happened. How
very
did the
odd in this
doctor
particular episode.
pull Conrad into
It
the
worked in
TARDIS?
Blink. They got it right in Blink.
Yes, good point.
Yeah.
But they didn't in this. It just seemed like he
I
didn't
feel
care. Really.
My
I mean, he
feelings.
gave the speech,
own
but anyone
feelings.
could turn up and give a bloody speech.
Yeah.
That's
It implies that at some point he's met Ruby again before he meets
Yeah.
Brenda.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think he completely avoids the issue that, or the fact that he put Conrad on the road. You know, he gave him that 50p that he has as a medallion still in.
Mhm.
And if Conrad had seen the TARDIS and seen it disappear, he must know that alien technology exists. So why does he then dispute the existence of aliens? But
Yeah.
the Doctor set him off on that path. I think.
Yeah.
And yet he's completely abdicated. He set him on a path that he is then later rejoicing that he will die at the age of 49 and just be ash. You know, it's just wrong.
The Doctor rejoicing in anyone's end that's
Disgusting.
just I really don't feel comfortable with that at all. That's not the hero I grew up with.
No.
I mean, we all know the Doctor does have his nasty side because we've seen it several times in various incarnations. This one, it just didn't land for me because it wasn't even nasty. This was just pure revenge.
Well,
like we had lust last year, now we've got something else which is new, which doesn't suit the Doctor, in my opinion.
But sometimes the Doctor got angry and emotions got the better of him. Yeah, that's where I saw it previously. This one was almost like he was gleeful that the person had done the things they'd done.
Yeah.
That's what didn't hit with me.
It's because it's too much personal. Because I mean, you could see from Gatwa, I could see from Gatwa his personal expression, his personal opinion. That wasn't the Doctor who was playing part of that, was him. As we said in the chat earlier. Marie UK, thank you for your super chat. Gatwa has no gravitas to make any speech.
Yeah,
I agree with that. And Trek Matt is with us saying he's obviously the man that the Doctor refers to in the robot episode who told him about her. I'd forgotten about that. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, right, yeah.
There is a link. Yes. Thank you for that, Trek Matt. 10 out of 10 for paying attention. Well done, you. I wasn't.
Taking a game.
Or just, I just don't care.
Or for remembering, even.
Yeah, remembering.
Yeah. Yeah, well done. But that's a great point there. I have forgotten about that.
What the hell am I
Thank you very much, Marjorie. This is not the Doctor. I think we're all agreed on that. I mean, for me now, he definitely isn't the Doctor. I can't see it at all, I'm afraid, in this performance. But that speech for me, I think it will go down, sadly, in Doctor Who history as something that we have to discuss and never let go because it was bloody disgraceful. And it was
he's got 4 more chances to prove he was the Doctor. I mean, it's not going to happen, is it?
No.
And did you not see potentially another Doctor light coming up as well? Or he might be missing from some of it. Yeah, it's like, God, what, really? Yeah.
I think it's too late, personally, but we will see. We've still got several more episodes to come. If you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're not, you know what's going to come up next because now we've got lots of different bits of entertainment, I hope, for you. We're going to be starting with the Woke-ometer. This, for people on Facebook, is just a laugh. Get a grip. We're having a bit of fun. Honestly, I put some posts out today and spread them around, pardon me, Madam Uer, around Facebook, Joe. You won't believe the comments that was getting back. Oh, what is woke? How dare you define woke? I said, oh, grow up. So if you're watching us just simply to slag it off, I'll get on with it. It's a laugh. We're just having a laugh. Are you ready? Uncle Sydney? Yes, we'll wind it up because the Woke-ometer has been listening to us. It's been reading all your chats and we forced it to watch Lucky Day last night. Out of 10, what will the mark be on the Woke-ometer tonight for Lucky Day? Let's have a look. Remember, it's just for fun. Don't write it. Ooh, it's fine, everybody. It's a 7 out of 10 on the Woke-ometer, everybody. What do you think about that?
Is that all? Is the Woke-ometer broken?
I was expecting an 8. I was expecting an 8. Yeah.
Thank you, Uncle Sydney, for that one. Yes, my Uncle Sydney put together the Woke-ometer out of Butterbean Whip and Angel Delight. It's over there in a bucket. But thank you for that one. The Woke-ometer will be back with us again. But I think that speech alone was worth a 7.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, absolutely incredible. You never know where it's going to go next. And just remember, everybody, we've got the well-known homophobe Juno Dawson coming up in a couple of weeks, and God knows what's going to happen next week. Oh my goodness, segregation is alive and well in the British entertainment scene.
Oh
yeah. Okay, now it's that time where we play the ratings game. Oh, this is exciting. This show. Listen to this part of the show where we now look towards next week's Doctor Who episode, which is called The Story and the Engine. And this is where we ask you.
I think this episode's gonna suck now. I thought it was gonna be good. Now I think it's gonna.
Will it get over 1 million, basically? What you think the rating will be next week? overnight rating. We don't do the iPlayers. We don't do anything like that. We want to know how many bums on seats will tune in next week for Doctor Who. I'm going to start with Jodie.
I'm going to go for 1.45 because I think a lot that are now tuning in are pretty dedicated.
Or crazy.
How polite is Jodie? Jodie is going for lower and 1.45. Paul, what are you going to go for?
I'm hoping it's going to be lower than that. I'm going to go for 1.3, but I never get this right, so what the hell?
No.
Yeah.
Paul, of course, over the last year has proved that he's useless at guessing the rating. Desperately wants a pencil. I've got them over there.
Yeah.
Box, yes. But he's going for lower and 1.3. Married lady of the chat, Kirsty.
1.4.
This is sad days, isn't it? Sad day. One day we might do the show and we're all talking about 7 million again.
Oh, I could believe it'd be 8, but just not million.
Yeah. Just 8 people. Yeah.
It might yet happen the way it's going. But Dr. Ian.
I'm going to go between these two and say 1.36.
Wow.
Definitely lower.
Ian is going for lower at 1.36. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am going there.
We don't need this anymore.
For the first time. But I'm going to be saying 1.2.
We're playing Steel Dragons.
1.2. Lots of you in the chat.
Of course.
Lots of you with your
fucking punching blow.
overnights. I'm going to be looking at them in the week.
Day.
I will get to them, but I am going to be looking at some of them now. Jamie Tipton is saying 1.4. Julianne is saying 1.4. Raymond is saying I went for 1.47 last week, almost correct last week 1.47, so I will stick with 1.47. That's 1.47 from Raymond. Third Dr. Andrew is saying, did I mention I work for the BBC? Wink. Never mind. Don't worry. The next government gets in and it looks like who we think it is, you might need to find another job. Derek Hart, 1.47, Mudcrab 1.3, and Mark Greaves saying 1.1. Sheila B in the Devotions 1.1. Wow. What a lame title for a story, by the way, says G35 with 1.38. Stephen Brad at 1.3. And Whoopi Doodle Doo with Scott Andrew Brass saying 2. I'm not to pick that one up. Paul Rose is saying 1.4. And Dalek Lives Matter 1.45. It's sad. It's sad.
It is. It really
Robert
is.
Payne is saying to us, if it's not lower than 1.5 after this week, I'd be very surprised. Daz Blue is saying to us 1.25. Captain, my captain, good to see you. 1.33. Jason's going for it. 0.9. I'm being kind.
Hopefully we're out
It will do it. It will do it, I'm sure.
David Shaw is saying 1.5 million, so he's staying with it this week. If it stays at that this week, it says a lot. It says stability. It says it's found its audience, unless it goes down for Eurovision. Don't forget,
just get
Doctor
2
Who
points.
might not actually be on if the week after, if the footy ball goes to something called extra time or penalty. Harry Lee is saying 1.15.
Wire chip is probably.
Paul Rose, you might think that, but I'm not commenting. You have to wait for my book and you'll have to buy it. And Frankie is saying 1.27. Digby is saying 1.38. And Daniel loves the relaxing music.
Me too.
I've been in a spa.
Also scary.
But Julianne is coming back saying, is BGT Live final next week? Apparently it is, so it might be as low as 1. And Frankie is saying, more people watch QVC than Doctor Who. This is true.
Oh,
And they get more value for its money right now, I would imagine.
oh God.
But that, yeah, I've heard that, and it's true. QVC do very well. Why they never took me on, though, was another matter. Thank you very much for that. That was your ratings game. Oh, that was your ratings game. We'll find out who won that next week. And now, from one thing to another, it's time for you now, Who Views, to start in the chat with your scores on the TARDIS doors. Oh, there's so much going on in this show these days. Oh, we're back. Right, hello, everybody. Right, here we go then. Yes, so let's see where we're up to with scores on the TARDIS doors. Kirst, could I ask you to keep an eye on this for me, please? Because I think we're going to get an awful lot of... I think we're starting with Austin there, aren't we, at 1.0? But we're going to come to that in a second, because I want to remind you of where we are at with scores on the TARDIS doors. The Robot Revolution got 12.5 out of 50. Lux got 9.5 out of 40. And The Well got 27 out of 50. So The Well doing better so far.
Oh, well.
The Well is doing well. I was trying not to say that.
I know it's that, yeah.
Here we go then, so that's great.
I don't know what his last
Okay,
name's
so
gonna
this
be.
time around,
Probably
so
Muscle
third
Pencil.
Dr. Ian, your score on the TARDIS door out of 10, please, for Lucky Day.
Once again, like the Robot Revolution, it was very clear that people of my gender, skin colour, nationality, and just about everything are hated. 1 for Millie Gibson and Sweet FA for the rest, so 1.
Third Dr. Ian going for 1 out of 10. Thank you. Jodie, what are you going to give this for the score on the TARDIS door?
I'm going to give it 5 because it wasn't dreadful.
Okay.
I'm not saying a great deal, but I'm trying to be kind.
You are being kind. Yeah, that's fine. You lovely, kind person, you.
I know.
Mrs. Wifey of the chat, what are you going to give it as a 10?
4, and that's purely and utterly for Miss Millie Gibson.
Yeah.
She is popular. She is a popular girl. They made a big mistake not keeping her on for season 2. They really did. Okay, so that's... did you say 4 there? That's great. Paul, what are you going to give this one?
There were bits of it I liked. I liked the monster. I liked the way some of it was shot.
Reverse
And I liked the villain in it. He was really good. But it still wasn't that brilliant. So a 3.
A 3? Wow, okay. Emilio did text in his score on the TARDIS door. Good old Emilio there. He also sent me this lovely picture of a sheep chewing grass. Which is really good. He says here he's had 1 point for the slick production and 1 point for Millie Gibson's performance. The rest is infuriating, forgettable trash. So that's a 2 from Emilio. Thank you, mate. Thank you very much. We will get Miles' score. I think he might put that in the chat. I will try and keep up with you in the chat in a minute. For myself, I'm done. I have to be honest. I don't see this as Doctor Who. He is not the Doctor. I think the scripts are lame. I'm trying to recap everything I've said. I'm only on episode 4 and I am exhausted. I'm absolutely over this thing. It's awful, awful, awful television. It's getting purely for Millie Gibson a 1.
He probably does want the powder.
There we go. Sorry, don't like it at all. I'm going to be coming.
Sorry, JT. Wasn't there a bit of a totally unsubtle sexual reference at the beginning as well when he was asking her out?
Sexuality.
Yeah.
No, when he was asking her out for a drink at the cafe or something, was there something like, do you fancy one or something like that? And she was, oh.
I'll give you one sort of thing.
Yeah, and it was just like, is that necessary at all?
Yeah.
Why put that in? It was
very 90s, actually.
Yeah.
Do you remember there was that other thing about Ruby implying that the Doctor was homosexual?
Yeah.
It's alien, everybody. That wound me up as well.
Yeah.
He flirted with you, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that. And I noticed, we just didn't talk about it. Keep your scores on the TARDIS doors in the chat coming. I'll look at them in a minute, but I want you to all look at this particular story as well. This one has come from ScreenRant.com. Doctor Who Season 15, Episode 4 review. I'm disappointed. Ruby Sunday's return was in a lackluster episode that made little sense. It carries on with Doctor Who's Lucky Day has an incredible start to the episode, only to devolve into a lackluster entry to the long-standing legacy series. I'm all for politics and shows, and I think it's always been a part of the DNA of Doctor Who. When it hijacks the story entirely, the show suffers. Doctor Who has always pushed boundaries, and it's a better show because of that. but it's also been smart about the way it includes these themes, which were
I think I'm
displayed
missing
earlier in
about
this
5
season.
coins here, but
However,
that's fine.
despite setting up an
Oh.
intriguing Dr. Light episode, which
just
revisits Ruby Sunday a year after her time on the TARDIS, the episode discards this idea in favour of creating a villain who makes no sense and has strong relations to groups that exist in real life. While these groups are certainly toxic and do not deserve praise, they don't belong in a sci-fi fantasy show that provides fun and escapism for the audience. Ruby Sunday's ending in season 14 was a frustrating twist, but overall, Gibson's character was a wonderful addition to the show, and she had strong chemistry with Gatwa's
No.
Doctor. So when the episode that sees her return presents
Why are
no
they lying?
reunions between
Why are
the
they
two
just lying
characters,
about
it's
this show?
already a little disappointing. However, Ruby has led strong Doctor Light episodes before, as seen in 73 Yards, but this episode
Well,
feels
we're probably
something
gonna stop
completely
at
different.
skill 6, so.
Romance with Conrad is a wonderful addition to the show, and the first half of the episode beautifully capitalizes on it. However, when Conrad reveals his true colours, the episode takes a decidedly
Golden
political
Globe
turn,
go now.
establishing Conrad
were
as the leader
beating
of a
up on
group of
me. They were
angry,
making
repressed
fun of
people
me.
who believe in
Now look at
conspiracies
me.
over reality and actively cause harm and endangerment to the people around them. In all honesty, this isn't actually my problem with the episode. It's the way it overhauls the story and makes no narrative sense. Conrad is a hyper-radicalized public figure who has earned massive
What a
wealth from his
narrative
political
sense.
ideologies, though Unit has no awareness of who he was, and by extension, Ruby was lured into his pretend podcast where he rationally and calmly discusses the Doctor and aliens. The idea that Conrad could fool everyone, after also attempting to get a job at Unit, is laughable. And to that, the fact that he's had numerous first-hand witnesses of the Doctor, the TARDIS, and aliens, and it's downright absurd. Doctor Who is the perfect vehicle for exploring ideas that may be controversial, especially when those ideas are applied cleverly and consistently. Just 2 episodes before, this was handled beautifully in Lux, when the show highlighted issues of racial discrimination in the 1950s. Likewise, earlier episodes address other issues such as the transgender rights, women's rights, and challenging chapters in history, even if it doesn't always strike the right balance. Embracing these issues, raising awareness, and showcasing positive response can be a powerful way for Doctor Who to connect with audiences. Unfortunately, Lucky Day poorly handles its message and is heavy-handed in its approach to making a point about individuals who reject realities. It moves too far in the other direction by having characters like Kate Lethbridge Stewart fall from grace and set a ravenous alien monster on Conrad after he insults her father, all while she live streams the brutal attack. No one was right in this episode, but a lot of people were hurt. Ruby deserved better than to be the prop here, and Kate has been transformed into something more grotesque and disappointing, similar to Harriet Jones after she blew up the retreating Sycorax ship. It's frustrating to see this episode walk back on some of the tremendous success and growth that came about in this season, but I believe the rest of the season can rectify this episode's issues. What are your thoughts on that, everyone?
It's not wrong.
No, it's not. No.
I thought it was balanced.
I don't think there's anything coming in this season that'll save it though.
No, I don't either. And that's sad, isn't it? That's really sad.
Yeah, completely.
That we're at this point now. 4 episodes to go, 3 if you may.
But they certainly can't. They can't do subtle politics at all. I mean, that's the problem, isn't it?
Well, they're not even doing balance. If you're gonna,
Yeah.
I mean, Doctor Who was in the show. I dispute the fact it was political. It wasn't. And if it was a science fiction edge. But it wasn't banging on about it every single week.
No, it
was
wasn't.
about monsters, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I lost.
Sad days. Have a think about that one, everyone in the chat. Stephen Braddock, thank you so much for saying 10 out of 10 for Who's Views having to watch this dreck. Thank you. Well, it's good to know you're all there, quite frankly, and thank you for joining us. It's been a great audience again. Robert Payne saying to us, bad taste for RTD showing a live-streamed act of violence considering what happened in 2023. They don't care.
No.
They don't care. But also, it was, again, the hypocrisy of this, as that sort of article there sort of put on, as I said there, the judgment from these people about people that won't think like them. Absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
Woodhouse 122 is saying, sad to say, but Doctor Who is a dead series and nothing in the next 4 episodes will change that.
No.
And Jess is saying to us, I think the end episodes are going to be representative of the rubbish we have seen so far. Therein lies the answer, and it ain't going to be good. Bill Lowry saying, Doctor Who has always had the political edge. It just hasn't been this consistently badly written.
Yeah, but they told things as allegories. They don't do
Yeah.
that anymore.
Yeah.
When they're told as allegories, they can be really clever, and they also aren't having a direct dig at people the way they are now. They leave it for people to make up their mind what the allegory is about. They're not doing that now. They're hitting you over the head with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, and it
Yeah,
hurts.
they never took sides, did they? I mean, you're looking.
No.
If you look
It
at
was
say, the Green Death,
Yeah.
you know, and
A lot of
that was a fantastic story about ecology and anti-pollution, and there is nothing wrong with being against pollution. Who wants to pump crap into the air or to the ground or anything like that? It's stupid, isn't it? But it was about championing about alternative foods, alternative fuels. But then you've got the flip side of the brigadier saying, but we need lots more petrol, plenty cheap petrol, cheap, lots of it. And it gave you the opportunity of making your mind up. You know, you had to balance so many things. It was never black and white. And life isn't black and white, is
No,
it?
and
But now it's, this is right, this is wrong. And if you're not on this side, we don't like you.
but what they purport is they are supposed to be against indoctrination, but that is exactly what they are trying to achieve.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really wrong.
Yeah.
I would not dream of trying to indoctrinate my own children or try to remove their ability to think for
so by the
themselves and
way,
make their own
I don't
decisions
get
about
what you're
things.
saying.
I give them my opinion. If they disagree with it, that's fine.
Yeah.
These are words. Dick.
Lots of you in the chat here as well saying things through. You've got here Legion of James. The
I don't
projection
even
from
get
these
this
people is
anymore.
off the charts,
I love
creating a
all
villain who actually represents all the things that they
This is
themselves are doing. Exactly that.
And now my water.
I totally believe that one. Paddy NI is with us.
I
Subtle
am.
messages are a thing of the past, obviously. And problem being saying to us, I've never seen a show so actively attacking its fans horrifically as Doctor Who. It's miserable. The only entertainment here is for the insane cheerleaders filled with hatred in their hearts. It's Doctor Who. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that we are where we are. It's such a sad time. It really is for Doctor Who, and it's no wonder that it's down in the ratings. It's alienated millions of fans. It's alienated the great British public.
Oh, I'm retarded.
It's
These
meant
are
to be fun.
At least we're
Well, these
fishing
are the
now.
dying
At
days.
least
Let's
we're
face it.
fishing.
We're calling it on this show. These
Oh.
are the dying days. Let's see what's going to happen. Stay with us here on
Ah,
Who's
well.
Views. Make sure you've subscribed. If you have already subscribed, please make sure you are still subscribed, because there's a lot of news coming our way over the next few months, I can assure you. And we're going to be here to talk about it. Where are we off to next, everybody? God knows. The next story in this version of Doctor Who is the story and the engine. That'll be screened, of course, next week on the iPlayer from 8 o'clock in the morning, around about 7 o'clock-ish. I can't remember the time because I'm not bothered, on BBC One. But we will be here on Sunday, the 11th of May, live at 8 o'clock with our review. Thank you so much. Please come and join us for that one. I'm already judging it, I have to be
To
honest.
use a very Scottish word, this looks pish. That's all I'm saying.
I have been against this whole thing about segregating theatre for years now, since 2020 when this whole madness started. 2020 in history, by the way, has a lot to answer for, because that's when the world went crazy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why
Really
I grabbed
has.
this choice?
And I can't stand it. And now we've got television shows that are doing it. And they think it's right, because we're going to talk about it next week. Come back and join us next week. I'm going to carry on. Otherwise, I'll be here all night talking about it. So, to Paul, to Third Doctor Ian, to Kirsty, to Jodie, thank you so much for being here tonight for that. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's
Very
been
much.
great.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Great fun.
Thank you to everybody in the chat that has joined us. What a night. It's great to get your views. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. We will be seeing you again. If you are interested, if you are a Blake 7 fan, we will be here tomorrow night on this channel, 8 o'clock live, with our review of Series 1, Episode 5, The Web.
Yeah, my special is crit, and I'm healing
And
myself
don't forget,
with the punching glove.
she's on the way. The next episode. She'll be here very soon. Servalan's coming. I can hear it now. Join us tomorrow. We'll also be back in the week with headlines. Stay with us for those. We'll be getting hopefully Bedweir's ratings analysis. Bedweir, I hope you're feeling better. Hope we'll see you soon. But in the meantime, from all of us, from the panel, thank you so much again for being with us. We're going to be seeing you very soon. Have a good day. Good night. See you in the week. Ta-ra, everyone.
Yeah, everyone, bye-bye.
Bye.
It's a sad thing because like count water active, so his items are really wasted. GG's. God damn it, dude. How do I not find anything?
Hello again. Oh, how many times? A hat trick today. Hat trick. Welcome to the fun, frank, fulsome forensic review of Lucky Day. You know where to be. We're going to give it in full barrels tonight. Episode 4 of Shooty Season 2, but he wasn't really in it much, eh? A Dr. Light episode. We are the sense sphere, talking sense, making sense of all the nonsense. It's the only place to be tonight, so you're in the right place. If you want detail, debate, passion, fun, God knows everything in between, you've found your home. So click on those notifications, give us a like, give us a subscription, tell everybody about us, and we'll get going, eh? Your host here, Brendan, nice little happy Hoovian, happy to share his thoughts on what the hell's going on in this blooming program. Well, obviously, earlier, you know, I wasn't weeding, I wasn't touching grass, I was actually providing another service for you all, which is reporting on the figures, and there they were. And I'm dying to get the panelists on to see what they think of all this one. We've hit another lowest of the low of the low. There you go. So, yeah, check out that show. Me and John really kicked off about that. And it's not getting any better, is it? There's the 4 episodes, 2 million, 1.5, 1.8, 1.5. The average is looking low. Mind you, the showrunner had to do one simple thing. Those dolls, those mannequins, if we just brought them on, it looked like the Autons. That's all we needed. Every Doctor Who fan, man, sorry, not Rachel, not chat about it, shout about it. Queen of the Woke doesn't like Autons. So apart from that, but when you saw them in that department store, didn't you think, oh, please, that would have really made a good Doctor Who story? But oh no, they wanted to do other things. Autons can wait. So bit of a shame that. Misstep, I think you call it. Missed an open goal there. Now, we have Saturday night breakdowns, but we've also got the 5-minute breakdowns, and I've done the analysis you can expect. I'm saving it for when the panelists come straight on. 5-minute breakdowns. Oh, are they tasty. But if you look at the Saturday night breakdown, Doctor Who is really hemorrhaging now. What was that? 12.9% of the possible audience. Meanwhile, Britain's Got Talent, 32% of the audience, 1% Club, 24%. The BBC News, I mean, the Pope is dead now. He's also buried now. We've got no more excuses about pushing up the ratings. That's gone. Casualty is actually doing better than the sci-fi Casualty Doctor Who. We'll have a look at that later. And because Lucky Day just felt okay to some fans, you know, they're all saying, oh, shall we have Pete McTighe as our showrunner? Already. I've got a few issues on that one. Okay, so we'll come to that. She's not saving it. I love her as an actress, Anita Dobson. Mrs. Flood might be a very intriguing possibility later on, but it's not getting the national consciousness talking, is it? Let's be honest, it's just not. The think tank Easter egg, were you all happy with that in Lucky Day? The think tank Easter egg? I tell you what, I'll be truthful with you. He's into a little secret here. That's not the think tank anybody's talking about anymore. It's the Thursday think tank with me and John Yulden. That's the think tank everybody's talking about. Thank you, RTD, for naming an episode and and a concept after our program. Thank you. That'll give us a few extras. So yes, join us for our think tanks on Thursdays. But of course, can this program at the moment get any positive news? GB News reporting Ncuti Gatwa sparks fury from the BBC Doctor Who fans as he lands the Eurovision role amid anti-Israeli boycott threats. You see, they go one step forward with their progressive thoughts, and do you know how clever we could have our Doctor Who doing the UK results for the Eurovision straight after doing the episode? Two things have got in the way. One is if you're progressive, you can't be anything to do with an organisation that has included Israel. And you know the score there. Not going there, but the progressives get their knickers in a twist. Then the other problem is they've decided that the FA Cup final kick-off will be at 4:30. 4:30, 45 minutes first half, 45 minutes second half, 15-minute interval. It's going to get tight to fit Doctor Who on BBC One before the Eurovision starting at 8. Oops. It'll do. They'll manage it, but if there's extra time, Doctor Who is relegated into the bin of BBC 3 or BBC 4. Oh, this is going to get tasty. This is going to get really tasty. So, number one, Ncuti Gatwa is getting it in the neck because he's going to be doing the UK jury results of an organisation that includes Israel. And as you know, all the progressives are pushing back on that. So he has found he's had to doctor his profile on Instagram and everything. Have you noticed that? Yeah. What's this got to do with Doctor Who? It's because they're all waffling on about politics all the time. That's why. And of course, with what they're doing with the program, whether it's a cartoon, computer animation, or whatever, we've got the drag queens, we've got this, we've got that, we've got chaos. And that is not helping. So, you know, hello, why are the ratings doing so badly? But if you want a comfort blanket, as you know, on Wednesday night, me and John Daly, who's going to be on in a minute, we just discussed the Doctor Who Monthly and him subscribing and then cancelling. But we got so many viewers because everybody said, oh, that cover, oh, that content. I used to love the Doctor Who Monthly. And it just makes you feel good inside. So you tune into that if you want. And you'll find your regular streamer here, Brendan. I had an amazing question for them. I mean, have you seen? Talk about nerdy, talk about geeky, talk about obsessed. I was fixated on pillars. Pillars. Are the pillars in the Thal City in Genesis of the Daleks the same as the pillars in the 80s TARDIS interior? I mean, I needed that dealt with. And actually, the Matrix Databank of the Doctor Who Monthly answered the question. And they said, bog off, no. Now, what I want from our program, bottom line, manifesto-wise, and I might do a Doctor Who manifesto next week of what RTD needs to do to bail this program out, is if you look at those three enemies of Doctor Who on the left there, it seems that current Doctor Who seems to think that number one and number two are the main villains of contemporary society, that this is what we need to be facing. Daleks, oh God, they're so yesterday, you know, autocrats like that, Omega, Sutek, they're so yesterday. What we need to do now is fight all this, you know, right-rin this and right-rin that. It's pathetic. And this is where we are. Hence why when people like Connor Heck say, oh, in case I've never said it before, Pete McTighe is one of the show's finest writers and honestly would be my top pick for the next showrunner. He absolutely understands the show and has a good balance of being a fan of the show's past, but being able to move it forward. Right, we can all have a vote on that if you want, but I'm not too sure. Right. Shall we get the panel on? Shall we get the scores on the doors? The Tombstone Totalizer? How did their predictions for their ratings go last week? Oh, and our big ratings talk. Oh, and now I think there's going to be some fights tonight over the scores. So, shall we get them on? And you know how we do that. It's a kind of unique wheeze we have. Here we go. I hope John's at the ready. Here we go. Oh, that's a medical issue we might have as well. If I press the right button, we might actually get John on. Poor lad, he'll have peaked early. He'll have to sit down again. Here we go. is. Good old John. Evening.
I've been waiting here for ages.
And Michelle sent the scores in. We'll have her opinions later. And here comes the Queen of the Walk. Hey, still reading that book. And Paul's the best cancer of the lot. He's always moonwalking. Here he is. He's moonwalking into our life. Here he is. And here we are. It's gonna be a good show. Here we go. Right, as usual, I think we need to lie down after that.
I do need to return those books.
Oh god. So yeah,
It was
apparently
like
the
reading
show now.
OT.
We should always ask Paul to speak first after that because he's
Yeah.
saved his energy.
They should. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, have you got anything to say
This
for
is
yourself?
so
Wokey's
funny.
here. If anyone hasn't met him before, this is Wokey Stroker. Say no more. Now, Wokey, what are you doing here? I see it's bank holiday, so he hasn't got homework.
Mr. Brendan, all the trolls are saying you're a bunch of grifters.
A bunch of grifters. I remember I had a bike like that called a grifter.
I thought that was a chocolate bar.
Yeah, well, or a bike.
You're just no better than that
Dude,
comrade in
Paul
Lucky
just
Day.
sitting there. felt
Actually, I
it
wouldn't
during
mind
the
looking
intro.
like him.
It's
I
so
can,
funny.
I'll take a bit of grifting, Rachel. I tell you what.
Would you?
John, you're just as bad. Cancellation culture.
Yes, yes. I'm hoping to be cancelled next.
Yeah, you were scumbag. You're the wrong sort of fan, you, John. Everyone was going mad about you when your Doctor Who Monthly cancelling. I mean, who
Yes,
are
I
you?
know. Do you know something? And you know, it's still better than what I get called at home.
He's just like
He comes back for more.
he don't
Yes.
care at all.
Hi, Wokey. How are you? How are you?
Oh, we're terrible. We're kept in terrible conditions.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. He's
In Brisbane, we got a sweatshop.
yeah. Well, get back on that switchboard. We want super chats. Super chats. Super chat game. Super chat game. Super chat. Yeah.
He's got us manning the phones day and night. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's funny. I never seem to get any super chats, so obviously something's going wrong. You're on the wrong. Do you know what? Are you going now? Because I get on them phones. Look at all them super chats that are not coming in.
I'm joining a union. It's not fair.
Unions? We don't do
Back to the
unions.
sweatshop. Get sweating.
Bye all.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Missing you already. Whatever you're called, whoever you are. Yeah, walk.
Bye.
Strokey. He's having a stroke him. Right. Right, so I think it's our burning issue, everybody. Time for us to be calm, time and placid and thoughtful and reflective. Here we go. Yes, burning issue time. Paul's fallen off there. I don't know how that's happened. Oh, it's the size of the thing. Give us a second while we talk. Paul, you're still there. Don't worry. It's done that. And if I do that, it would make it easier for us. So there you go. Nice little gremlins there. So burning issues, John. Where would you like to start regarding your burning issues with Lucky Day?
Right. Okay. Let's just park the review of this for a second. Let's go straight to the end of this episode, which is probably the best place to be. at the end of this episode,
don't think
where
there- oh,
Ncuti
there is
Gatwa
another
gives
graph
us his
type.
sort of magnum opus about what he and the production team think this Doctor is all about. And I'm going to quote what he actually said. I'm fighting a battle on behalf of everyday people who want to be safe and warm and fed. Since when did the Doctor become so bland, so boring as to sound like a politician? Is this the same Doctor who called the human race indefatigable or indomitable or extraordinary? Now we're being told we're everyday people who all we want is to be safe and warm and fed. It's a very small scale and indeed boring, if you like, description of what this Doctor seeks to do. And to be honest with you, that's reflected in the adventures he has.
Yeah, both of
because
these
he seems
things suck.
disinterested most of the time. And all at the same time of doing this, as you see in that picture there, Brendan, he delivers this address of what his mission in life is, dressed like one of the Dougie Squires second generation dancers in Seaside Special circa 1977. Whatever this Doctor does to dress like this in his TARDIS when he's all alone at home, I'm not sure I want to know about it, but it looks as though it's 50 years out of date and then of a light entertainment variety. But the original point is, that description of what the Doctor is proves how badly this show is being run, if that's your mission statement for the hero.
I mean, Rachel, I don't know why we had a number one, a Dr. Light episode, but number two, when you're going to stick him in it, make sure it's a good piece of content. Now, I know when you were on our Who Night last night, and I noticed one or two of your comments, you said this bit didn't bother you. I think it was a slide I was showing maybe, but what about this section here? What I mean, I'm as charged up as John is on this.
Yeah. So I think I'm trying to remember exactly what I said now. So it was a bit before, when it was just talking in general. That bit didn't bother me, but when it starts talking about like the oppression, us, how he's defending the people who can't defend themselves. I felt like it was a bit. It's a bit of a dig. It's a bit uncalled for, and and then saying that,
Fuck with it.
like a bit like what you were saying last night, like the streamers, the people who were the naysayers, the anti-establishment people, they were the problem. It's never the people who are being oppressed that are the problem. It's always these people that are a problem, and that's where I had the biggest issues with the political language, I suppose. But the tiny bit before that didn't bother me so much, and then the bit after that
Now we save our money
bothered me
until.
probably even more.
Now I'm gonna save my money until Gyarados, and then we get Skiploom and the other Flying Furies, I guess.
Where he's
Right.
just like, oh, here's the reveal. Spoilers. This is your life.
Oh, I mean, where do you start on this? So in the end, we
Why
judge
does
on
he
whether
do
it was,
that?
yeah, we judge it on whether it was enjoyable Who and it was recognizable Who. And I'm sorry, but the Doctor, I'm sorry, he does not. He even feels. I said earlier, he feels sympathy
said
when
I
he was the
wasn't gonna
second
roll,
Doctor
and
in
I
the Three
rolled
Doctors. He
anyway.
felt sympathy for Omega. He feels sympathy for Davros.
Yeah, I was just about to say Davros is a good example of that.
Hepish in The Curse of Peladon. He was on the wrong side of history, so to
Yeah.
speak. John Pertwee wasn't happy as the Doctor, but he still talked to him and said, "You wily old bird, you," and all the rest of it, and talked to him. Meanwhile,
He can disagree with them, yeah, but not to. It's the first time I've seen him do that. Like that.
and it's such a
does he
shame.
have
You've
a
actually got Ncuti Gatwa acting angry.
Yeah.
And it was a powerful scene. I still
Yes.
think it was a well-executed scene.
Yes.
Well lit up. It was
Yes.
enlightenment too. I liked the angles by the director. I loved the music. The whole thing was well staged. And then he opened his gob.
I might have won if I put him on the start.
And in this case, it's not
Can I-
Shooty's fault.
Can I bring back just to
Yeah.
the reason for writing this down is I agree with everything you both just said about what happened either side of this. But let's bring it back to that basic thing. This is a mission statement made by the main character of a program about what he does. And I quote again, fighting a battle on behalf of not the human race, everyday people who want to be safe and warm and fed. It's a very low key, low bar mission statement about, first of all, about how he regards the human species. As I say, Tom Baker thought as to be indefatigable and indomitable and extraordinary. Ncuti Gatwa's doctor thinks this to be everyday. Why? Because this doctor's better, more special, better dressed, better looking, has better sticky out bits than the rest of us. This is a very sad state of affairs that this program has come to. That's the mission statement, just in that sentence, about what the hero's MO is.
Paul, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, there are so many elements to this speech. It had me going last night for quite a while. But what's your thoughts on it?
I didn't like the propagandizing. I didn't like him criticizing what he saw as conspiracy theories or anybody who was against the establishment. I found that repulsive. I did like the bit where he dismissed him and said, "You'll die at 49 alone, and all that will be left of you is ashes." I did like that bit. It's not something I want the Doctor to do a lot. It's not that I'm trying to sort of flip the Doctor's personality and make him someone unwelcome in our lives. But this is a Doctor who will eventually turn into the Valyard, and the darkness in him will be distilled when that happens. And I think that ever since the Sixth Doctor, and probably before then, that's been happening. So I'm okay with it now and again. Not often, but I'm okay with the Doctor being petulant and nasty now and again. Let's say, for instance, he's trying to stick up for his friends, or if somebody touches a nerve. I don't mind it now and again, because there is that darkness in him. He's been a thief and a murderer in his time, and we mustn't forget that. So there is that darkness in him. There's a provenance to it, and there's context right back to William Hartnell.
I think that's true, Paul. But unfortunately, if we take it to the whole speech and the end of that speech, I think he gets bested by this character. He just smiles, and sort of inconsequential, so what sort of a smile.
I agree.
And the Doctor keeps his fingers in his back. So it seems that the Doctor is unsuccessful in his attempt to make this character feel that his life's going to end up worthless because of the choices he's made. So why bother?
Well, Conrad's not exactly in touch with reality, and it's quite possible that insults of that nature, no matter how deep, no matter how deep, it might just not affect him. Conrad gave a good account of himself, but the thing that I liked, and I know it's a strange way to put it, but the thing that I liked is that we saw a little bit of the nastiness that I believe does exist in the Doctor, and he manages to curb it for most of the time and be the person that we know and love. But it is there. It's been there ever since William Hartnell, and it's been allowed to be shown, not often, but occasionally. And I think it's necessary. And I think it was probably quite timely, especially as it was a little bit more condensed due to his relatively brief appearance. So that part of it I liked, but the propagandizing, not at all. No, the messaging in this was possibly the worst there's ever been. And I fully agree about that part of the speech.
What gets me is this is the Doctor defining speech for Ncuti so far, and all credit to, like I said, the staging and the acting in the scene, but not the content. The content made me think, if you just listened to it, I just looked at that transcript, I thought, wow, after 60 odd years fighting every villain and monster in history, the Doctor is most triggered by a lad who sits online doing conspiracy theories. Is this the biggest villain in Doctor Who history? Because I think he's overreacted.
I reckon a lot of this is coming from what's playing on RTD's mind.
Oh God!
Yeah, certainly the propagandizing was definitely. But whether by accident or design, I did like that speech about "You'll die at 49." It's not, like I say, it's not something I want the Doctor to do often, and he hasn't done it often in the history of the show. But it is. I'm glad to see it now and again. I am.
I agree with Paul. I agree with Paul. That side of the Doctor does exist, and it's nice to see it now and again. Two things though. One, it's undercut because he just gives a say about the whole thing about what he does, helping everyday people. He sounds like a politician, so it's undercut by that. And secondly, it's badly delivered by this person who's just this actor who's just not doctorish in a costume, which looks he's just come back, as I say, from some sort of nightclub somewhere dancing with Liberace. So it just totally undercuts everything else that they're trying to do here. But yeah, I also believe that this is broader and wider than having a puppet podcasters like yourself, Brendan, or people on the internet. This is almost like the BBC saying, don't trust anybody unless it's us.
Yeah, well, and this is it. But this triggers, this is not where I want the TV programme to be, because it's taking a side. It's a bit like when the BBC took a side on Brexit. This is not how we want our national broadcaster to be. We just want Doctor Who to be escapist. I don't want a turf war. I don't want fans. You know, I report the ratings earlier, and Rachel will know this pretty well. Suddenly you get the trolls.
Yeah.
But the trolls are saying things like, oh, I don't like your thumbnail. Oh, I don't like you reporting this. Why do you want to do the programme down? I'm thinking, I'm just reporting facts. They've just forgotten that facts is very important to
Why do you want to spin the narrative your own way? I'm not spinning a narrative. I genuinely like reporting on ratings. I find it fun.
Yeah. Oh, wait till the 5-minute breakdowns are delicious.
I haven't seen those.
Oh, I've got them all ready, folks. I'm going to tease you. 5-minute breakdowns, and I've put it in colour. Oh, sorry, I mean, I'm the future. But I think, even though you're all charged up about this speech in different ways, I actually think I'm not going to give him a pass on... Paul, I get it. He's an alien. He should be like William Hartnell sometimes, a bit kind of, you know, unpredictable. Totally get that. That is the Doctor.
I think
I just don't understand why he's so triggered by an earthbound issue, an earthbound, not villain. I don't think you can call him a villain. He was arrested because he broke into UNIT, Conrad. I don't think he was arrested because he was tweeting
Look at
stuff.
this thing, it sucks.
The point is, the Doctor's more bothered about the whole, you know, kind of history of the universe, and just to be tied down by a kind of contemporary issue bound by a Western society seems very limiting.
Well, it's not too much of a stretch that he felt protective towards Ruby. It could be that. It could be as simple as that. The human side of him.
That would have made more sense.
Became inhuman.
That would have made more sense had it been that speech been all about what you did to my friend.
Yes,
I could
I agree.
have got that. I would have bought into that a whole lot more than this other stuff. This is all part of another thing I was thinking about, guys. Why does Doctor Who always have to be about something in terms of an issue? Why does current Doctor Who have to have a subtext, an issue, something else to make us think about something? Why can't it just be entertaining or frightening or thrilling? Why must we always have a subtext or something going on? It's a fault of modern day Doctor Who. Classic Who did it, absolutely did, but it didn't overcome everything else and become the reason for writing the thing in the first place.
It's probably better than that.
It's just, I mean, I find it funny. Robot Revolution, we had a sub-agenda of toxic masculinity. Take a look at that photograph and make a decision. I mean, hello, two blokes, you know, headbutting each other almost. You know, hello, testosterone's flying. Shoot it out while you've lost it. Honestly. Don't preach to me one week about toxic masculinity and then prize this scene as the Doctor losing his crap. You know, what? Is that toxic? I mean, Rachel, I still think it's a good scene. I just wished all that music and all that lighting and all that acting would have had the content to back it up. That's all.
Yeah, in this case, everything that's going on in this scene is let down by the writing, but then I suppose, you know, I never say an actor is bad. You've got two actors trying to hold it together in this scene, so
He does decent damage.
I'll say no more.
Yeah. I personally,
they're doing the absolute best. I think, I don't know what his name is, but the one who's playing Conrad,
Yeah.
really did hold it together. He
did. Conrad
acting
was
is
the best actor.
reacting.
He
He's
was
very reactive in this scene, but he doesn't do a lot with his face.
Because
He reminded me,
need to.
this
He's not
speech,
scared of
I don't know what
him.
you
No, it
all
was
thought,
perfect,
just
I thought.
reminded
He was
me
not
of
scared
when
of
the
doctor. He was
master
like, "Who is you?
got the
Who
Capaldi
is you?"
speech, and at the end he went, I never heard a word you said. And I just, and it was like that. I thought, that's all
It really
Jonah
was.
Howakin
It was so
has to
cute.
do
It
here.
was so
And he
cute,
does.
though.
He kind of says, is this
It
an
was-
intervention? I loved it. I'm sure John thinks so.
Is
but
this,
it's like,
is
cool.
this it? I don't accept your reality. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah.
And it was
like,
good
"Get
because he
outta
didn't
here,
back
you
down.
punk, you bum."
But then the doctor had to hurt him. But again, there were plot holes over the place. What's the is the plot? Is the Doctor Who stalking him and watching over him
wanna
when he
play
dies in a prison cell? I mean, how does he know all that stuff? Isn't he bothered about saving the universe rather than obsessing about somebody who tweets a lot?
Maybe Angie Watts told him.
Back from the dead?
Oh,
no, you mean Mrs. Flood?
Angie Watts, yeah.
Oh,
She'll always be Angie Watts. to me.
I thought you meant like her character Angie Watts had come back from the dead.
No.
It's been a long day.
She told him over a pint in the Queen Vic.
I am not
And
sure.
Shooty was beautifully
There were a lot
dressed
of
for her.
comments
Really
that I
knighted.
don't
Good
agree
knighted.
very
I
good.
love
I
you and
mean,
everything.
I hope he doesn't underdress for the Eurovision, because let's face it, it's all getting built up for that one. Paul Roach, the ratings don't lie. The era is failing. The reasons are obvious. Poor writing and DEI. And don't you wait. The ratings are coming. I mean, I know you've seen the figures, but wait till you see the 5-minute breakdowns. Oh,
you jeez.
I am. Farsight,
do
the
want
Valiard is past history. I don't think we can use that as an excuse for losing
That
it. His
shouldn't have been
companions have had horrible things done to them in the past by far worse bad guys than Conrad. Can I
That
just say
shouldn't
one more other thing, actually? I said he's not the worst villain in history, Conrad Clark, and I will stick with that. So I don't know why he was losing his crap so much as the Doctor. The other thing is, he even had sympathy for the young Davros. He had sympathy, the Doctor, for, he had a bad start in life. He even allowed Margaret Slitheen to start again and be rehabilitated. But oh no, the fact that this lad had been slapped by his mum, maybe neglected in his family as a child, who cares? The Doctor no longer is my hero. He does not care. He takes sides.
But what ultimately
Generally
is he
speaking,
guilty of? What's he guilty of?
Generally
This guy. To
Exactly.
deserve to die
I don't
horribly
know
in
what he
prison.
did. That's
Exactly.
What I said. Oh, what did he do?
I don't think whatever
Anybody
impetus
know
the
what he
guy presented and however significant his character is isn't the issue. This darkness in the Doctor, to answer Farsight's point, it's always the present history of the Doctor, this Valiard darkness. It's always going to be there, and it's good that's when it's presented. And also it doesn't matter that the guy was relatively insignificant compared to some other foes of the Doctor. It's always in him, and it can happen sporadically and pettily and petulantly. And that I like that. I don't want it to happen too often, but I like the fact that it can happen. And that's what I saw when I looked at that. And yeah, I found it pleasing on that basis.
Now, can I just say, because and John knows this, because when I started this channel, it was quite important to me that we are talking sense, we allow different opinions, and Garbage, bless him, our moderator, says if you disagree in the thread, that's fine,
no!
but please don't tell people they're wrong. And it's quite true. That's the
I
wrong
had
way
to
of
click a
debating.
button.
If
I had
somebody's
to click a
wrong,
button.
it just takes the rug from under them.
so
Listen
sorry.
to them and respectfully
I'm so
disagree.
retarded.
And actually, it makes for a better debate, because I'm always interested in, I totally disagree with somebody, but why do you think that about the same program I love as much as you? I'm always
Because it's
fascinated by that. And yes, Garbage, quite rightly,
They could
nobody's
go for
given
the
me
same.
any favours, so why the hell we should mention any other channels out there apart from Rachel's here, who obviously we work together. So no way. Yes, Garbage, you're quite right. People giving free lifts up to other channels when they're done to me. Yeah, all right. I wasn't born yesterday. Thanks, Garbage. So yes, on the burning issues front, I mean, this speech here. Do you know what? If you change the words
This is
slightly,
tough.
it
Look
could
at
be
all this
RTD saying
garbage
he's
on
just
my bench,
captured and
bro.
weaponized Doctor Who. I mean, it's just cowards like you weaponizing Doctor Who, taking people's insecurities and fears and making it the currency of Doctor Who. You are exhausting me, RTD. You stamp on the truth of Doctor Who, you
It's
choke
only
our
normal
bandwidth as
three,
fans,
it's not
and you
worth
shred
it.
our patience, RTD, because the only strategy you have is to wear us down with 2 seasons of Doctor Who, a spin-off, and a few Christmas specials. You tire me out, RTD. There you go. Hey!
Right, is that it? We're off now.
I've been
That's
rehearsing all day.
Right, folks.
So what's for dinner?
Yeah, good night. Bye, everyone.
Can we just dance the rest of the time?
Yeah, now, can I say the other thing before we move on? Because this really peeved me. I'm a politics student and I cannot stand this. Yes, as Garbage quite rightfully said, you don't dismiss other people's arguments as wrong. Equally, you don't say people's opinions are noise. Oh, no, 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 no. How anti-democratic is that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Go on, Rachel.
I
That's
don't.
actually
Yeah,
insane. They just
that
be like,
that is a comment that I didn't like.
dismissive
Okay, so I work full time, so my reviews quite often do get a little bit
Now
sort of
torture kids only
limited.
to help me
I have to
find
limit what I
other
can put in,
opportunities.
and I did not like that statement because a lot of people call me a right winger because of my channel. Right? Okay, I'm not right wing. I'm pretty central actually.
You're the queen of the walk.
I am, yeah, slay, you know, and I felt like this was an underlying message to people and the sort of naysayers that just be quiet.
Yeah.
This just shut up, and I'm not about that. I think we can both we
we
can
don't get
all
normal,
discuss it,
so
be it
we're actually
right
gonna
or
need-
wrong, or
Yeah, yeah.
it's not even
that's
right or
good.
wrong
We're actually gonna
sometimes, you
need
know.
this.
But I just did not like that.
559.
Exactly, and you're absolutely right there, because
Oh, well.
part of the sense that the progressive left, and I will use that because that's what they are, it's the progressive left to do most of this. I'm not right wing either. Tend to want to shut people down. And I'll give you an example of that. David Tennant on BAFTAs telling Kenny Badenoch, who's got a view about biological sex and women's and all the rest of it, is told to shut up. You know, because he has a view, she has a view contrary to his. No, David, that's not the way it works. You're entitled to your opinion, she's entitled to hers, and then the coach can sort it out, as indeed they did. But you know what? David Tennant represents this production team represents David Tennant, and it just shows you exactly their viewpoint is. You can say whatever you like, until it isn't what we believe in. In this case, shut up.
That's why I found it quite funny when early on in my preface I mentioned that, you know, the progressives don't like the fact that Ncuti Gatwa is presenting the UK jury results in Eurovision, and yet it's including Israel. Oh, oops.
And this was poor Ncuti. You have to feel sorry for him. He had a choice to make. Do I go in the Eurovision and maybe show sympathy for Israel, or wear the nice outfit? The nice outfit won.
I'm sure he's ordered it already.
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. And regardless of how meta that's going to be, because that is going to be meta, at the end of the day, it's a job and he's getting paid to do it. And I'm sure that he will like doing it. I'm sure of that. You know, and just because he doesn't have the right view, well, no, sorry, not just because he doesn't have the right view. I don't know what his views are on that, but just because he's doing that, they say, "Oh no, you're a traitor. You suddenly have the wrong view just because you're doing that." It's a bit like
cancel him, get him cancelled.
Yeah. That I hope. Well, I don't like
Nigel,
cancel. Yeah, it's horrible, but it's a bit like that. I have access to a full list of the open letter from the people in the entertainment industry.
Yes,
and I've seen over 1,000 names on that list, and one of them that's signed is Papa Estiadu, who's going to be the Black Severus Snape, which a lot of people have disagreed with, and people are going, well, you've agreed to do that for J.K. Rowling, now you're signing that. That's wrong.
And Squinty Mint, I agree with you. The noise comments, understandable from the internet, is overwhelming perspective, but it is an elitist method of communication making a point which is a problem. I don't like the Doctor is taking the wrong side is my issue here. He's taken the side of the elite. He's taken the side of those in power who don't like to hear noise, which is called, I think, criticism and objectivity and a contrary opinion. and they can't deal with it. You know, I just think it's the wrong choice of word. It's very poor writing, that. And then comes this noise. I mean, how to really destroy somebody in an argument and say, I can hear something. I mean, they did it with Capaldi when the master said that I didn't hear a thing. You know,
I guess I was going for
a gnat in my ear. It's so dismissive. It's so blooming rude. It was worthy of the master, but I'm sorry, not the doctor. Excuse me. No. So yeah, quite rightly. You brought this up, John. Rachel, you brought up as your burning issue, one of them anyway, was the Dr. Light episodes are better than the Doctor Who episodes.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Why is that a thing at the moment? I just don't get it. It's like, and I don't necessarily see that as a shooty issue, because I know a lot of people would. Personally, I don't necessarily see that, because when he has appeared in the Dr. Light stories, he has given 110% to the scenes that he's in, regardless of what the writing is doing. But why is it that it just seems to be consistently better? The ideas are better, the concepts are better, depending on whether or not they are well executed is debatable.
Why?
But in all, the ideas and the concepts in this story were really, really good. All by the politics, set that aside, okay. But yeah, it just... Why is it that way? Is it that they just forget how to write the Doctor nowadays? So when they leave him out, they just got an ordinary story to get on with. But when he's back in, they just change everything about him. It's so mind-boggling to me. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Yeah, yeah.
To me, Rachel, and I've said it a few times, I've come to the conclusion that the showrunners of New Who are bored with the Doctor's character and are looking for any excuse they can to hide him in a cupboard, to hide him off that one episode, and to give the companions airplay, because that's the soap opera element. And that's what they know best, is soap opera. So what you need is... I mean, I'm a sci-fi fan, just like you are, but we're supposed to be more bothered about what a 20-year-old, the PTSD she's suffering, apparently, than the Doctor solving some issue on some far-flung planet. I mean, really? No, it's not my thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I'm just disagreeing with John in the chat. Hang on.
Okay. and the other thing, though, Paul, is... I thought the PTSD bit was overplayed. I don't like it. I used to say at school, the kid said, I'm depressed, Mr. Noble. I'm going, well, that's a clinical thing. We don't use that word too freely. I'm suffering from PTSD. Well, if you want to do hyperbole, go for it. Well done in English, that's hyperbole. Trouble is, you're not telling me the truth. And we shouldn't diminish and devalue these words, because if you are bothered about mental health, RTD, don't overplay it in a script. Sorry, Paul.
So did you ask me some? Sorry, what did you ask me?
There's no question. It was actually a disgraceful statement just to provoke.
Oh, right, okay. I'm so sorry. I was... Sorry,
you can go where you want, honestly.
Okay. None of this convinced me. Not a single. I couldn't wait for this to be over. So none of it convinced me from start to finish. So any sort of incongruities that you've found this time, I'll readily agree with you, because I couldn't wait for this to be gone. I couldn't wait. I even considered. I always watch this on iPlayer with. I'll have my breakfast. I think there's a couple of others in either the chat or the comments who do this. So it's, although Doctor Who belongs on a Saturday evening, absolutely, unconditionally, I have fallen into a nice event TV via BBC iPlayer of just watching this when it gets released. Have my breakfast, have a cup of coffee, have some breakfast. And this is the first time where I wanted to press that 30 seconds ahead switch that they have on iPlayer, or 20 seconds ahead switch. I couldn't wait for this to be gone. I couldn't wait for it. I really couldn't. It didn't have a single redeeming feature for me. And the thing about the twist, I acknowledge that I didn't see the twist coming. But when you don't care in which direction a story is going, then the concept of a twist becomes meaningless. When the twist came, I acknowledged that I didn't see it coming, but I didn't care. All I saw was I've got another 20 minutes of this, and I can't wait to not see it again.
Rachel?
Now I'm done disagreeing with John in the chat, right? Okay, we're going to meet each other in the car park, right? Okay, and I think part of the reason why that could be, Paul, is because there is no build up with these characters. Pete has like 45 minutes or so to establish these two as a couple, and I think part of this might be. I think I will talk about it later anyway, but it's probably because Millie was leaving. Pete was tired with writing her out, and she wasn't going to be in the first 3 stories, even though I have reason to believe that she was going to be. Something's just telling me that she was. So, you know, he had to just do it as quickly as possible, and I just don't think it helped them at all.
Well,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I do have a problem. It's 45 minutes long, and for about 20 minutes we had some light, frothy, romantic-y stuff.
That's
and
what
it was
you
just
got-
like,
yeah.
it's like,
Sorry, Brendan,
wait,
sorry.
I want something to that. And yet, Paul, the bits I did like, and we'll come to them. I know this is the our burning issues bit, but basically, just so people know, we're not all just venting in such a negative, passionate
I
way.
will be.
He said I will.
I will be. I will.
Because
be.
it's just
I will.
Paul. Because I
Today. Just me
I could
today.
be accused of being another grifter or a chopper, or I don't know. But basically, in essence, I've lost my gist. Oh, John, I've joined the Sanatogen crew. I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Was that a jibe at me?
Of course.
Don't you stop. Listen, I was listening to all of that with interest. The whole Millie Ruby
Yeah.
Sunday PTSD thing. And I mentioned this to you when I was texting you earlier. I don't even know where this came from, apart from the plot demanded it. The last time I saw Millie Gibson and Ruby Sunday in this, each of her episodes she was laughing like a drain, loving every bit of it with the Doctor. And the only reason why she left is because she found a real mum and wanted to put some roots down and get to know her mother. It was nothing to do with trauma. The last companion I remember doing that really was either Martha Jones or Tegan going way back. So this whole PTSD thing seemed to come out of nowhere, and it was being used as a sort of a hook by the writer to hang a bit of acting that Millie Gibson could do. There was no indication at all during our 8 episodes in the Christmas special time with the Doctor that she was finding this in any way traumatic, or certainly more traumatic than other characters involved. When we last saw her, she was over the moon to be found her mother, and all seemed to be going well. So I don't know where that came from at all, apart from the plot contrived to have it there.
Yeah, and look, with Simon Anthony, I know what you're saying. I think the PTSD comment was justified. I think it supported the pain she felt, as did all the other companions. PTSD is quite a clinical diagnosis, Simon Anthony. She didn't look as though she was bedwetting. She didn't look as though she was having a sleepless night. She didn't look. She was on the raz. She was out. She was going out dating a boyfriend. Oh God, she looks so. This looks really problematic for her. And by the way, I have little sympathy for even this narrative, because when the Doctor in the TARDIS, he said, "Back off, my companion." You betrayed her. No, Shooty, you betrayed her in Rogue. Let's get this right. Yes. So basically, isn't it funny how Shooty's Doctor has suddenly discovered a conscience and safeguarding issues? Yeah. You do that too well, John. You must be up to
Practice, plenty of it.
John can be found in many Glaswegian bushes.
But not Melanie.
No. Oh, well, no, she's in Sydney because there's an issue. Sydney has many issues. I don't know if they need Mel, but anyway, she's at Mardi Gras. That's what's happening.
Oh, sure.
So Eastern Burkholder. So when he's in a scene, Shooty, he's not reacting the other actor by expertly reacting to the actor who is doing something or talking. Put it another way, Eastlyn, and our actress will come in and give us her assessment.
He is not reacting to the actor by expertly reacting to the actor who is doing something or talking.
In other words, he's going through the motions. He's
Yeah,
not-
yeah. I think
Just
that's what
doing
it's.
his own shit.
I think that's what
RTD in
it's
that comment.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me have a think about that.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Garbage here, who's doing a very busy job, and thank you very much for all your efforts, Garbage, and please respect him too. PTSD is one thing, but based on the past 8 years of constant disabilities, racism, sexism, and all the other stuff we really don't need, PTSD mentioned in Who, do we? It's a bloody sci-fi show. I concur. I have to say, please leave that for the soap operas. They do it better and they spend more time on it. Properly.
But especially when it's just a fleeting mention and it's treated, and anybody walking away from that will think, well, didn't Ruby get over that very, very quickly? When genuine suffers from this, must feel slighted by this.
That's my big problem. That's my big problem with this episode. All the pivotal moments were presented on an entirely non sequitur basis. There was no preparation, there was no perspective generated. We were just expected to believe it because they were placed there by the writer, and it just completely made me uninvested.
I think that's the problem, Paul. I think in the end, because there's no development, you just get these thrown at you, and I'm supposed to be the right sort of viewer who goes, oh my God, PTSD, oh gosh, oh, I'm with you, girl, I'm with you, girl. And you're thinking, I'm not with you, girl, just because you've mentioned it. She went to a pub. She's going out
Also
with her
probably should take
boyfriend.
bug.
PTSD, my back foot, honestly, taking
It
the
is a
mick.
Agree.
As for this, if he was here, he'd be flirting with you. Not my doctor. Excuse me, my doctor would not be flirting with every blooming geezer. Every chubby
I
goes in.
found that to be absolutely typical of what this iteration of Doctor Who's all about. You know, what does she remember about her time with the Doctor?
And
the
there's
fact
gonna
that
be
he's
a
a gay man
flying
who flirts with
I
other
could
men.
play this. I
Not
guess.
right.
Let's see.
No,
Three.
So yeah, I mean, I'm sick of this identity nonsense, gender politics. Stop it. The Doctor actually just goes and does boring stuff. He actually just deals with the universe. He has a screw.
He
He has a
helps
screwdriver.
He helps everyday people.
Of course. He's got a heart of gold. Esther Ranson, give him a heart of gold.
I do.
I mean, and then Mrs. Flood, is she supposed to save the episode? I'm the
took
governor.
this.
She clinks some keys like, some
took
child
this.
catcher. I love Anita Dobson. I just
took
wish
this.
they'd
Even
given
though I
her by
needed
now,
an
Rachel, a
electric
whole
That's what I should
episode
have took.
to establish her.
Maybe. I took
Uh,
this, though.
Yeah, I
Even though we're
do.
playing Poison,
It's
we're gonna do
coming up
something
though,
with
isn't it?
aquatic.
In 2 weeks.
Oh, I know, but like Paul's saying, it's like, will anybody be here?
I don't know. What they have started
With
doing though is with the one-liners that they've been giving her is, and I think Anita's also doing it as well, is that she's becoming darker.
Yeah.
So each delivery is a little bit different. It's not, oh hello darling, or anything like that anymore. It's very much like, no.
But you know,
I'm getting
for those who are left behind watching this, don't you think a casual viewer, if there are any out there, will be saying to themselves, hold on a minute, didn't they do this last year? Have an old lady appear in every episode and we had to work out what her purpose was. So the chances are that they're not going to be terribly impressed. If anything, they're going to be thinking, Doctor Who's repeating itself, it's run out of ideas, it's getting a bit boring, samey, whatever, because that's what it looks like.
Yeah. And
from Davy's perspective, of course, this will just be a season-long thread because that's the folly of filming each series back to back. It doesn't give time to adjust and respond to feedback and correct silly mistakes like this.
Yes, hubris. You thought it'd all be brilliant.
Totally.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
Eastland Burkholder, thankfully, has got back to us, and I said I'd pass it to Rachel. So, Rachel, are you okay now with what he's just said?
Sorry, Rachel, to clear up my meaning, the actor saying it is doing it looks better due to the supporting actor in the scene reacting with the body language and face and changes in emotional tones. Yeah, so acting is also
one added Joel to
reacting.
great.
But with the going through the motions, you have to look carefully at what Shooty is doing with his reactions, and his reactions, in my opinion, in that scene are absolutely fine. And I think it supports what's going on within that scene.
I mean, I was happy with the acting, just not the content of what he had to say.
Yeah. And I also think. Oh no, I'll be saying this later anyway, so I'll say it later. Yeah.
We had, I mean, it was a good episode, I think, for Kate Stewart. I don't know if it was a good episode for UNIT, because UNIT are obviously understaffed. And their security's not very good. They even have a school trip going through the front door.
It was very, very easy to get through the back door. It was one guy with a push to open.
Yes, I've heard that. No. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Burning issues, they're burning a blooming hole in my brain at the moment. So I think I need to cheer us up. How can I cheer us up? The ratings. Here we go. Time for the dollies to do their dealing, and they'll have to do some dealing. They need to find some votes and views. So it was 1.5. I've done the stream already. I'm sure Rachel has as well. 1.5, the lowest number ever.
I did a short. I've got to record mine. It's all written though.
I do a short. I've got the right height for it. And so yes, these were the predictions by the panel. So let's do it again. 1.5. And there you go. Michelle on the money. Michelle's busy tonight and next week. We'll have Hugh next week, but Michelle's given me her scores, so don't worry, we'll have the figures right. 1.45. So well done, Michelle. You were.
She gets the blankety blank checkbook and pen.
Yes.
Woo-hoo!
Your gift is not in the post. And Paul and really the rest of us are a lot way out, really. We were very optimistic.
Yes.
Very bad. Very bad.
We also flatlined it. We thought where it was last week. So
we must do better this week. We must do better. Now, the context as usual. There's a lot of context. I must go on the big screen because the latest things there's two things to know here. Lux, the consolidated figures came out, which means basically between Robot Revolution and Lux, we tanked 880,000 views. 25% of the audience went walkies after 1 week. And then obviously the other figure, which is today, which is 1.5 million overall, which is 360,000 down from last week. Now, that's not too hot, is it?
It's the weather. Of course, everybody was out enjoying the weather. Don't you understand, Brendan? Nothing to do with the quality of the episode. The sun was shining. The whole nation was barbecuing. That's what was happening.
One off a lot of evolutions, by the way.
Well,
away for bank holiday.
And this is why, when people, I've already had them after the stream at lunchtime, when people saying, oh, you're just being negative about the latest figure. Don't you understand streaming with all that? And you've got, right, excuse me, I've just got this figure here.
That's very good. Do that again. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got me and Shooty.
Unlike Shooty, you get great range.
I'm reacting to nothing.
Oh, sorry. Can I just say, if the ratings or the streaming minutes really did not matter, these would not be released publicly.
Exactly, and that was one of the points I tried to make, in your tweet back.
And it evolves into a sounder. This is what I need.
Let's not be triggered by the overnights. Let's just look at the last year. Doctor Who loses 1.1 million views since Space Babies in 1 year. Oops.
Get him.
That's 40.
Let
me just show you.
Get him,
That
Pikachu.
is
Get him,
42% of the audience of Space Babies has gone.
Let's go.
42%.
That's a lot.
I wonder why.
Do we need
Anybody
to
think?
No,
Well,
because that's
John,
too
it's
stunned.
starting to make Space Babies look really good now because of the figure. 2.6 watch Space Babies, and now we're getting this 1.5. So it's shocking. But I've been teasing everybody. These figures I showed earlier on my stream, and to be quite, they're very dramatic. Are you ready for the 5-minute breakdowns, everybody?
Oh, yes.
He's born
Here we
ready.
go. This is, oh my God. So remember, that what they're reporting is that basically Doctor Who got 1.5. Let's have a look at the detail. Here we go. So I'll go bigger so you can see properly. So the Doctor Who program started at 7:10 and it had 1.6 million. And then it started to tank again. And I've tried to color code it. Deep red is the worst. So by obviously 15 to 25 minutes in, it was tanking as per usual. And then it only got to
I don't even know what
1.6
to give
million
that
again
to.
when everybody was excited to see Blankety Blank. So basically, before that, we had
Like
the hit
Blankety
list,
Blank.
a celebrity hit
Why you
list, a
keep
game
talking
show
shit on
about,
Blankety Blank?
music. And they delivered,
This
as
thing
a
is
good old
nasty now.
relay, 1.6 million to Doctor Who. Doctor Who tried its best to lose those viewers. And if you take the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes off, those people are not watching Doctor Who, obviously. They're just tuning in and out. So I've taken the average of all the 5 minutes in between, and it's 1.48 million. So basically, the figure is actually flattering
This
us.
is
So 1.48 million watched
unhinged,
Doctor Who between 7:15 and 7:50.
I guess we don't
and,
want
and
this.
and it goes lower, as you can see. I mean,
Oh,
it dips
we
and
get-
it dips and it dips. So basically,
No,
from the
Buck 4
moment it
be you
started at
plus
10
you.
past through to 10 minutes later,
And we get
tanked
sound off you, so
another
we don't want this anymore.
140,000 people. I mean, there's something going wrong. And I would have suggested that
Let's
this is where me and
go.
Paul might concur. Those first 10 minutes or so, Paul, was all froth and light comedy. And so
Absolutely.
you tune in for Doctor Who, you don't get it, so it tanks even further.
Quite.
It's 15, 20.
I know.
Do you want me to stick my tuppence worth in?
Go on, you go for it, John.
But yeah, absolutely. I'm hearing, when you read elsewhere, threads and what have you, people saying, if only they had started the season with the well and not Space Babies, then everything would have been different. I don't care what you started it with. The fact is, these episodes, in whatever order you get, are just collectively rubbish.
Come
There might be
on,
the odd diamond shining amongst them. But then again, if you have a
Dude, I thought I was in the poison
you'll
region.
always
I
have
thought I
some
was in the
that are shinier
poison.
than others. So
Sold.
this would always have happened because it's just an inferior quality product. It's simple. People tune in for Doctor Who. They're not getting Doctor Who, they tune out. And successively, from season to season and episodes within that season, more and more people are tuning out. Now, we always make the assumption that this will turn itself around by the end of the season, and we might just get back up to 2 million. For every time this sinks, for every time the weather gets a bit better, and it gets
I didn't get a
lighter outside
poison
to give
type.
them
I
that
had a
excuse,
bug.
the likelihood is that this show will come and go with most ratings in the
No
1 million
sound there,
plus
no
area,
poison.
and lucky to get it.
I agree. I think the damage was done. I agree with that. The damage was done by those supposed specials because people had an expectation then. They had faith in Davies because obviously he was the putative savior of this show. So everybody was behind him. I didn't want him back, I'll be honest, for a variety of reasons, but I can understand everybody who did, and I can
This
understand
just
the
has to
faith
be a
that they had in
poison
him.
type now.
And when those specials revealed their true nature, when they didn't give any deference whatsoever to 60 years of this British institution, then that caused these slumping figures. And the gravity of that bad decision, it's never been able to escape it. It's always been something like 3 point something or the high 2 point somethings, and it's never recovered. And like John says, once the series started last year, it doesn't really matter what order you put them in. The damage was done. So I fully agree with that.
And we're getting to hardcore now. I mean, 1.6 is not brilliant, is it? But you've got the hardcore Doctor Who fans, I suppose, are the ones who are left, and then we still lose them every episode. They can't consolidate. Now, by the way, we are now sandwiched. We are dipping between a game show and a game show, and Blankety Blank is a cheap game show. So Blankety Blank, does it have a co-partnership with Disney? Is it heavily marketed to China and Bolivia and Haiti?
No, but it's easy to produce. You don't need to do
cheap to
special
produce.
effects, and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
I also looked up EastEnders. Its last cost, I think it was like 250,000 odd per episode, but they have a 6-week turnaround, I think, at the moment. So they're just rolling it out, and
Yeah,
it's
plus
fast.
they're filming in very much existing sets with a
Yeah.
cast, and they can amortize the cost
Yeah,
of that across.
exactly, and
course
they've
of
got
the year, you know.
multiple cameras rolling at the same
Yeah.
time. So boom, 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 wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's done. It's
push
out.
me.
You see,
You're right, Brendan. Those are game shows. Doctor Who's sandwiched between two very inexpensive game shows, and to be spending whatever the BBC is spending on this. We know what Disney is, but the BBC will be putting a fair few million into this as well. One thing we all know is it's way more expensive than the programs that surround it. So somebody in the chat said about this being a sackable offence. Surely to goodness somebody in the BBC must be getting Russell Davies and the rest of that smiley crew behind him who all think they're fantastic when they ain't. Get them in front of a desk somewhere and say, what is it that you think that you're doing wrong, and get it fixed.
John, interestingly, I said in my short earlier, I'm probably not going to say this in my video, but I said that Colin Baker was fired for a lot less than this.
He was?
Colin Baker was fired for nothing,
Absolutely
Colin Baker was
nothing.
fired for a
No
whim.
matter what you think
That's it,
of him
yes,
as the
absolutely.
Doctor.
But the thing about it is, the thing about these people, Russell Davies and the other execs that you were talking about, the two, Jane and whatever her name is, and Phil, or however, these people are just so far up themselves that they're finding it very, very difficult to accept criticism. What's needed is someone where, particularly the BBC, I think, because this is ultimately a BBC property, to sit them down and take it and say to them, you have taken a valuable BBC asset, a program which makes us money, and it has a 60 plus year heritage, and you are trashing it. You are physically trashing it, and sack them.
Well, Tomboy Chick says, what, and I'll remind you, it was sandwiched between, before it was celebrity hit list, so you have celebrity couples, and it's a quiz show to do with music and pop. And then after it was Blankety Blank. Now, I'm not dissing those two programs, but they're just fillers for nice Saturday night, and some light variety, a bit of a laugh, you get some celebrities on. This is the big hitter drama. This is the big beast that wants to take on Strange New Worlds, Buffy, Star Trek. This is our big hitter for the BBC. And to me, it's hemorrhaging. By the way, I'm going to say this again. 10 minutes in, and again 15 minutes later, it dips to its lowest point. And if you look at what was happening in the programme then, I'm a casual viewer, I'm pretending. You tune into Doctor Who, you're thinking, I'll see what it's like this week, because Doctor Who used to be good. Oh, it's from the point of view of that lad. The Doctor's... mind you, the Doctor's soul was horrible and unbearable in the first 5 minutes. With that faux jollity. Hey! Oh, I've got a 50p and all this nonsense. I'd turn off as well and watch the blooming, final score or something. He's unbearable. And so I'd have turned off then. Then it calms down and it's from the viewpoint of somebody I've never seen in Doctor Who before. So why am I tuning into this? I want to see a monster. I want to see some, some intrigue. And it wasn't happening. I think those figures, as per usual, make sense, which is why they never really want to show them.
And interestingly, like you say, when the bits of the action seems to be happening, it seems to be where you've got the increase. That's what the people want to watch.
Yeah, and this is where, Paul, when we come to the episode, which we'll do very soon, I did think there were two creepy bits in it. What more? I thought the monster was great until it kind of revealed it Scooby-Doo style that two of them were like cosplayers. But I liked the scene where he was surrounded by mannequins, and unfortunately the Doctor and Ruby ruined that bit with some joking about how the antidote and anti-vaxxers and all that stuff. But that bit I thought was creepy. And then when she told the story of what the Shriek does, I thought that was good. And so it has, again, what you were saying, Paul, is they have these little disjointed scenes, but they're just not thread together. But there was elements there.
Regarding the monster, I felt it was the obverse of Invasion of the Dinosaurs, in that The story was woeful, unengaging, and the monster was probably quite well created. It's nowhere near enough for me, but it probably was. Whereas, of course, in Invasion of the Dinosaurs, I've never ever watched Invasion of the Dinosaurs and been bothered by the substandard monsters, because the story sort of auto-completes for me what they should be. Every time I watch that excellent story, it's just the acting, the writing, just everything hangs together to bring those dinosaurs to life. Never once have I been disappointed. So it's the obverse of this story this week. It's a good monster perhaps, but everything else is just woeful.
And don't worry, we're going to talk about that, everybody. I promised you the 5-minute breakdowns. There they are, and they take no prisoners. And to be honest, green is obviously the improved colour, and it's only at the beginning and at the end as everybody gets so excited about what will happen this week on Blankety Blank. So shocking. It's really embarrassing. So basically, that's that. It doesn't help when you see the figures for Saturday night, though. I mean, Britain's Got Talent is storming it with 32% of the audience, then the 1% Club, then the BBC News with something exciting about some political party winning and one losing, you know, whoa. And then the hit list, and then Casualty, and then 99 to Beat, and then Match of the Day, which is on after 10 o'clock, and then Doctor Who. I mean, it's an indictment.
It's more the viewer share is particularly worrying amongst all of that, because back in the day, Doctor Who, was in the 30s, sometimes 40% of people watching television were choosing to watch Doctor Who. 12%, that's almost like 1 in 10 people, slightly more than 1 in 10 people who are available to watch television at that time. So even let's just forget the figures. So everybody else in the world is out having a barbecue, but the people who are not and watching television, only 12% of them elect to watch Doctor Who. That tells you everything you need to know.
Yep. So, knowing all this and knowing where we stand, and I'll put this on the big picture, because I'm going to now ask for the predictions of the panel for next week's The Story in the Engine set in Nigeria with a spider god, it looks like. So if you see, just so I can show everybody, so you can see the context of what you're up against. If you think it's like for like, last year we had 2 bouncers. You can see in green when the ratings went up. Most of the time they go down.
This is bonkers.
John,
bro.
what would your prediction be, do you reckon, for next week?
Well, given the fact that the trailer did this no favours at all, it was just a selection of random scenes with a big effect at the end, which was difficult to see in the few seconds that was on screen to establish the fact that it was a spider. I dare say casual viewers might not even have noticed that. It could have been just some sort of contrivance, I don't know. So the trailer wasn't, poor episode, roughly, poor trailer, hardly getting people to come back. Had they maybe throw a Dalek in there somewhere, or the Master, or a Cyberman, people might have went, oh, spread a bit of word of mouth. None of that going on. So I'll have to say 1.45.
1.45. I will ask Michelle later, everybody. Like I said, I've still got her figures.
Ridiculous.
So,
This is actually
Paul,
ridiculous.
What do you reckon?
I think it's just going to be us 4 people.
That's more than it deserves, probably.
I agree. 4 more than it deserves, to be precise.
It might be worth tuning in to see if he gets it right. But then,
I predict it might be a bit off.
I could sabotage Paul's prediction by saying I'm going out next Saturday, so it's 3.
Hey, Paul, it's a fair observation. It is, yeah.
I think I'm guessing we're in dodgy territory.
I should
Do you
have
know
made
what?
Drapion,
Oh,
I guess,
God.
but still.
I'm going to
That's
agree
okay.
with John. 1.45.
That's
Oh,
okay,
God.
dude.
It's that Doctor Who monthly
Guys,
cancellation
they're
thing.
agreeing?
I'm with you in spirit, you see.
You're not
Rachel,
agreeing with me, you're copying me.
Yeah.
not for the first time. Rachel?
Is it the Noah Adams one? I think it's probably going to be about 1.4.
1.4 for the Spider God.
I think people are going
the
to
barbershop.
remember some things that he said.
Yes, and Oh, look, you can't help it. I know what people who are casual viewers of everything, and they say, oh, the adverts seem to be very diverse. And if they see any clips of next week, I don't think it's going to have people going, oh, I must watch this, because it just looks as though it's a documentary set in Nigeria.
It looks, what it looks like, Brendan, is like, it looks like more of the same. That's what it looks like.
It looks a bit dull. Can we get off Earth, please?
Did they film that abroad? Or did they film that here in the UK?
Brick Lane. No, I mean, I'm trying to think where it would be.
Brick Lane?
Blackpool Beach.
Because if they filmed that abroad, that might be why we had Dr. Light this week.
It's probably Tiger Bay, as they used to call it,
Probably.
Cardiff Bay. So, you know that we're here for the main item, which is reviewing the episode. We have special criteria. My special criteria are hidden on one of my markers here. We have our tombstone totalizer. We obviously then start to give you scores. That was the season 1 then. Legend of Ruby Sunday won just. Last week, The Well got 101 out.
So it's just like, yes, okay. Now let's go back to Creator Clash and the content cop.
Oh my days, that's so funny, dude.
It takes away, steals all of his stuff. Yeah, I agree. It's bad. It's like, how can you pretend to be this stupid? Like, is he actually just this fucking stupid?
Whenever Hassan's wrong about something, he goes, Ethan.
It's
like
just
that's
so
his tell.
cringe. Like,
his
he
tell
really
is
thinks
like
he's a teacher. Like, he thinks he's a grade school teacher. And now it's time for the main event of the evening. In this corner, we have a seething, Hamas-supporting, Turk Roach himbo idiot. And in the other corner, we have a seething, Zionist, Adderalled out Tourette syndrome Jew. Both of these people are totally retarded and completely ill-equipped to discuss a serious geopolitical conflict. But it's not really about that. It's about, I don't know, just lashing out and crashing out. It's gonna be Kino.
Yes. No, I'll say this. H3 comes in hot. But here we go, guys. We're going to have some fun tonight. Get your snacks, get your coffee. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell. It really supports us. And tell your friends if you enjoy the show. All right, guys, without further ado, because we're going to be here for a while. I don't know how much we're going to make it through. Ashley, I'm kind of like, oh, man, it's really like fucking 10 hours.
It's good. It's good.
It's good.
content.
All right, it's good.
This is some good shit.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look.
It's time. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hassan Piker.
Hello, Hassan Piker.
What's going on?
So already,
Well, I'm doing a debate.
I just think it's so cringe. Hassan's rolled up in the Palestine scarf.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Like,
yeah.
come on, bro.
It's the first thing
Stop.
I noticed.
Stop. But we have H3H3 here. We have smug Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein knows that Hassan has walked into his trap. I don't know why Hassan agreed to this, to be honest, because H3H3 is running OBS. He has all the clips prepared. He has everything set up.
As a staff
Hassan,
helping him,
Hassan is completely unprepared for this situation. And Hassan historically has been really, really bad in debates. Like, he's got his ass handed to him pretty much every debate he's ever had. Whereas H3H3 has had a lot more success, I would say, in these sort of verbal confrontations.
All right. Wait, hold on. Oh, are you going to show me all the time as well on the Zoom call?
Here, I can fix that. 1 second. Let me just set it to Ethan's output here.
If you want,
there you go.
If you want, just show like not just Ethan, but yourself as well. If you're going to talk, like that's fine.
Hey,
I don't know if it's gonna
Hassan,
be too difficult.
leave the production notes to my team.
just super cut. Like it's already just like, oh, so this is how it's gonna go. This is like a high school Mean Girls situation. This is such a clown show circus what we're about to witness. Every like dirty piece of laundry is gonna come out on both sides, and they're both gonna seethe and they're both gonna cope. And I'll say this, I saw probably the first hour and a half today, and then I went out and ran some errands for about an hour, so I missed like from the third hour. But then I saw the last 2 hours. I'd say from what I've seen in the first hour, H3 kind of steamrolls Hassan, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Then it does get dragged into the political realm where Hassan is able to filibuster a lot more and get in some points. But for the first hour, I would say Hassan really lands nothing of consequence. In the last hour, Hassan does try and come on hard, and he tries to, you know, paint H3's wife as a terrorist, and it gets wild in that last hour, and they're both just screaming over each other and crashing out. So it'll be interesting to watch the full thing.
And keep in mind, by the way, that Anissa did 3 tweets during it, and Hassan ends up shitting on iDubbbz. Like, it's so fucking beautiful.
Hassan basically throws them under the bus and puts it all on iDubbbz and Anissa. Yeah. Yes. And basically is just like throws their entire event under the bus, which it's funny because they really thought that Hassan was going to do something for them. And he never will. He never will give them even a crumb.
I can't wait for the update on Creator Clash.
We're not going to get it. They're currently stun locked. Like, they're in hiding, and they obviously bet the house on Hassan.
Yeah.
And at this point, this did not go, I imagine, as they expected. I think they thought this would be a very easy victory for Hassan. At best, both of them are, like, completely embarrassed and humiliated. At worst, like, Hassan kind of got fucking steamed.
No, honestly, for public sentiment, I mean, this is just like Twitter and comments from what I've seen. H3 is felting him. Most people are on H3.
Siding with H3. Yeah. Well, because it's just the way that Hassan approached this debate was so disingenuous and so bad faith and so dismissive. Where he's like, huh? What are you talking about, dude? And then he does this weird, like, substitute teacher energy where he keeps calling Ethan by his first name and trying to, like, be, now Ethan. It's just really weird.
Ethan. But D-Shift, thank you for that. The stickers there, it's called H3 Smug.
You can switch your show how you like.
Well, you know, they were my coworkers as well, Ethan.
Well, it's been a while, my friends, and guess what? They are not now.
No.
It's just so combative. They're both so bitchy. Like, you know, it makes sense they're both from the Middle East because they sure have a lot of sand in their vaginas. Just saying. Like, every little thing has to just be battled over in the most passive-aggressive way.
They're just throwing stones at each other.
We got Nelly for a sub.
Let's go. Thank you, Whoa Nelly.
So you did this content cop, right? And I mean, did that go how you expected? It didn't seem to.
I just love that's how he opens. It's like, so the content cop, did it go well? Did it go as you expected? Because it was a disaster. And he's immediately bringing iDubbbz into it. Because I think H3 here, his objective is to show to the Jamhas that Hassan doesn't give a single about them.
Yes.
And that's what he's trying to show here, is that Hassan doesn't care about you guys. He's going to throw you out like used tissue. He already got what he wanted from you, and now he's gone. And Hassan will confirm during this that he hasn't texted Ian or Anissa since the thing dropped.
No.
So the moment that they put out the content cop and gave Hassan what he wanted, he admits that he just ghosted them and had no contact with them since that point.
This is the funniest, dude.
He drags out some brutal admissions from Hassan throughout this, and he really does, like, bust up Hassan pretty bad here in the opening. Let's hit play though. Let's get
I had a bad feeling at this point. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like a 10-minute like debate, isn't it? I'm like,
I thought somebody was going to run away, especially how hot H3 comes in here. You're like, he's gonna rage quit. But Hassan stayed in there, and you know as he got fucking spanked.
So yeah,
very hard.
Before we get started, can I lay some like ground rules so we can have like a productive
Here comes this is the
conversation?
gayest.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
how do you define Zionism? So Hassan is trying to make this debate as intellectual and gay as he possibly can by making it about defining terms. H3 just doesn't give a shit and just accepts Hassan's definitions because he never intended on debating Israel versus Palestine. This for him is just about cornering Hassan on the content cop and a bunch of personal moral failings of Hassan. And both of them came into this without actually agreeing on the topic. So Hassan said the topic is Israel and Palestine. H3 going into this said the debate is about Hassan's moral character. So that you see this clash between H3 wants to do just straight up blood sports drama, and Hassan wants to try and make it a political debate. But he just can't manage to drag it to politics, and they just go off.
Let me say real quick, Hassan's like, who the f is watching like you to learn about the Middle East war? Who gives a f? It's boring.
The people who watch Hassan are watching Hassan because of the aesthetics of Hassan.
Yeah.
Because he's a himbo. Hassan is basically the political streaming equivalent of an OnlyFans thought. That's what he is. He only exists to basically thirst trap people, and people like the idea of Hassan, but they don't really like when he opens his mouth because he exposes himself to be a fool.
Yeah.
That's the reality of Hassan.
If you're gonna watch the news and coverage on the war, watch like the news on different political sides and many people. Why Hassan? He's like so boring. Anyway, his aesthetic.
So, I wanted to come on to make this as issue specific as possible. But yes, you have grievances with me, and of course, I think they're valid to address.
Okay, good.
Of course, we'll talk about that. Hopefully, I'll be able to address some counterpoints as well, if you will allow me in that process.
Absolutely.
But before we get
Imagine
started on anything,
believing
I would like to.
for even a moment that there is going to be decorum to this discussion. Imagine even believing that for a moment. Okay, that's it.
Because H3 doesn't even like
to potentially talk about definitions, so we can have like an established definition on a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about. Is that okay with you?
I mean, it depends how many definitions you got. What do you want to define? I don't want to get bogged down in this, so let's.
I'm also experiencing audio issues on my end, so
Sure.
hold on
Go
one
ahead.
second.
No worries. No worries.
Okay. All right, so you're fine with that?
I mean, I'll do up to a point. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like.
I don't want to get
it's
bogged
basic
down in a
stuff.
conversation.
It's not like a gotcha.
Go ahead, start.
I'm not-
Start. No, I know you're not. I
Okay,
just want to get
so,
going.
All right.
He's like, just hurry the f up. Like Hassan's so like.
Well, Hassan's entire point is to try and like filibuster and bog everything down in boring minutia.
You drag his
because he
feet.
doesn't really have anything genuine to say in the conversation.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I think we should define what Zionism is and what you mean by
What even
Zionism and what I mean
What is Zionism?
Oh man.
by Zionism. so you
Zionism
understand where I'm
is
coming from.
the belief that Jews should have their own homeland in the historic Palestine area. That's it.
Okay.
It's
All
a
right.
pretty
So-
standard definition, of what that means. But now
believe-
Hassan's gonna drop his $10,000 word buzzword, ethno-nationalism. Here we go.
Okay. What is it?
That Zionism is a religious ethno-supremacist ideology
Oh my
that
God.
is that revolves around.
But he keeps reading and having to look back at the notes and back at the camera.
He's obviously reading from his Discord server during this entire thing. It's so sad.
But he's trying to look at the camera, but then forgets the sentence and has to look back.
He's just slow as fucking super low energy. I don't know if he's filled out or what.
Yeah, like it's very like
indigenous policies of
The poor dog's already
removing
been put to sleep. By the way, some Muslim he is having a fucking dog in his house.
Yeah, exactly. What the
indigenous population that lived in, as you said, historic Palestine. As long as they are not Jews, because it's a religious, ethno-religious supremacist ideology. I think that this is a disagreement that you and I have.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. If you
so
This
obvious.
is H3's plan here is Gambit is Kino, where he just agrees with everything Hassan says. Yeah, absolutely. That's the definition. Now let's get into the drama about creator class. You know,
so
like
genius.
it's
You're
actually
right.
pretty stupid. Yeah, absolutely, bro. Okay, moving on.
He agrees with everything just to move on to the real stuff.
You want to add that, like the genesis of Zionism included, you know, the displacement and you know, the ravaging of the culture that existed there, then I would agree with you. I mean, I don't think that the establishment of Israel was like a good thing. I mean, it was tragic and a lot of bad things happened. But let me ask you, sir.
Okay. Oh, Hassan's just like, what?
You know, it's whoa, this is a very reasonable position by H3, where it's like, so what's the problem here then, Hassan?
Based?
Well, you know, it's that you're Jewish. And it's if Hassan would just come out and say that he hates him because of his race and that he believes in genocide, it would just be a lot more honest and there could be a real discussion, but he refuses to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
How was filming that content? I just have to know what you felt, what you were thinking as they were doing the Fortnite L behind you.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
No, we're here.
This was fucking Kino, bro. Like,
I agreed with you. Let's go on.
No, you're right about Israel-Palestine. Now, let's talk about what really matters, which is this cringe Fortnite dance, bro. Can you agree it was cringe? What was going through your mind as Dubs burned his career to the ground with the cringe Fortnite dance in your office?
You know, Anissa.
What were you thinking?
I guarantee you, Anissa was watching, and iDubbbz is like laying down, hearing like a podcast, a different podcast.
Oh,
he's upset.
I don't want to talk about
Okay.
definitions. You got your Zionism, and let's do the.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's fine.
It's not the debate he was expecting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh no.
Did you not? You didn't.
I've participated in
He's just got the
other
L.
YouTube videos as well.
He hits him with the L. It's just total like Mean Girls high school bully energy from Ethan
What
Klein
he's
the whole
saying
time. I'm
was-
so here for it.
What he's saying is, how did you feel when everyone was behind you with the L, huh? And the Fortnite dance. How did that make you? How did that make you feel, sucker?
Well, in the
No,
past,
but that
you know,
Fortnite
some
L
of them,
dancing.
Some of them feature sketches.
I noticed
Okay.
you weren't in the other shots. Why was that?
I think I was being interviewed.
Oh,
He was ready for this, huh?
why weren't you in any other sketches? What's going on, big guy?
I noticed
Okay.
you weren't in the other shots. Why was that?
I think I was being interviewed
Oh, really?
by
Who was
the
interviewing you?
journalist while that was happening.
Really?
I can't. I don't remember.
Really? Oh, that's convenient. I think you were embarrassed, frankly. you were absent from every other shot. I think you saw
Wait,
him doing
why
that.
would I be-
I think you saw him doing that Fortnite dance, and you said, "I got to get out of this." And by the way,
No, I
I'm
don't
giving you
care.
credit for that.
I mean, Ethan, you're.
I'm giving you credit for that. Oh no!
You know what's so funny is like Ian is like the rug, while these two are stepping all over him, and Ian's just a piece of meat. It's like two killer whales playing with a seal. You know, like,
I mean, the thing is, the guy, instead of like being his own king, like back in the day, you know, iDubbbz was a king on this level.
Yeah.
Instead, he's chose to be like Hassan's sacrificial pawn in a gambit that's just not even gonna work. Like, I just don't understand why you would do that. Why you would degrade yourself to become subservient to this Turkish guy because your wife wants to bang him. Like, that's pathetic.
and now he's spitting on you. What a bad call, dude.
You're a comedian. you participated in some sketches. It happens.
I mean, shit. Yeah.
Really? You're one of your most famous sketches. You in a fucking diaper. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. We've done funny things.
Okay, you know what? Let's not debate the merit of our comedy. You're right. I'm very hacky, and so are you.
Okay, so once again, like H3 is always just okay. Let's just move on. Let's not get bogged down because he has a plan for this interview, and he has points that he wants to hit, and so he's just willing to concede things that doesn't matter to hit Hassan where it does matter.
Yeah.
So, by the way, you believe that the likes were botted on that?
What?
You had said you thought the likes were botted on the.
What?
Yeah, there's a tweet. He said, or he means dislikes.
Dude, what are you even talking about, man? Like, what? It's like, come on, man. You can't feign ignorance at everything. This is, to me, the most frustrating thing about left-wing people, or just debating with people in general, is when they pretend that they don't know what you're talking about, and then you have to waste like 10 minutes explaining it to them when they know right well. It's so frustrating.
Content cop. Do you still believe that?
What? The likes were botted on the content cop?
The dislikes were botted. The dislikes, sorry. Yeah, you said it was brigaded and was botted, and it was unnatural.
Did you just
the dislikes on the
smoke a
video.
bowl, Hassan, or are you popped a Xan, or what's going on? Like, he's acting like he doesn't even know where he is. What a crazy thing to even bring up. It's like he's acting as though H3 just said that the moon is made of cottage cheese, or that he has 3 heads or something. And it's this like weird gaslighting that he does to try and control the frame, where he's like super dismissive of everything, and then believes that he's above him and he's this like authority. It's just
And but it's funny because Hassan was trying to defend the content cop and attack Ethan for a week, and then finally was just
If I get growled down now,
Ian,
I'm
he's like, I'm not gonna support this anymore. I don't care anymore. It's so perfect.
I actually fucked myself.
I don't really care about this.
He doesn't care. See, like he was like, you know what, Ian?
Dude, like, why even care, bro?
He's throwing into the wolves.
He's basically saying, I don't care about iDubbbz. Like, if you want to say he's an anti-Semite, cancel him, take his bank. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't even know the guy.
Oh, I mean, I don't recall
care
saying this, but I don't know why this is a major point of contention. All right, so you asked that question. Let's get back to some other definitions.
Hold on, let me finish, and then you can do your definition.
Imagine what
Did you think it was?
It's not my definition. I want to hear your definition.
That's so crazy.
I'll answer it how you like.
I hope you know that,
It's
like,
my own
I don't know if you know this, but I didn't publish the content cop. iDubbbz did.
Yes, I know that, and I.
Dude, like, I'm not responsible for that. That's all on iDubbbz, dude.
I don't give a dude.
Dressed him thoroughly.
All right,
do you know that? Do you believe he should have included the context of the CPS call?
What?
I called imagine, what? Like, imagine being this engaged in this drama, where these guys are going back and forth every day, proxy battles through associates, and then the CPS call is brought up, and Hassan pretends like he has no idea that CPS was called on H3, when that's pretty much the crux of this entire drama. And that's where it's just so slimy and so dishonest. And everybody can see that Hassan is just a lying sack of shit. What?
Yeah.
CPS call? What?
You don't know what I'm talking about?
Wait. I'm a little confused. You are asking me.
Yes.
What my opinion is on
the video.
iDubbbz's content cop.
Correct. That's correct.
About the CPS. I don't know. Maybe. Sure. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I think it was more so about like your.
It's Jover. It's so Jover. I had to sell 2 of my best ones.
Of deplatforming and also
right. Well, 90% of the clips were from the episode entitled "CPS Came to My House," Hassan. I don't know if you think that's an important detail.
Like, both of these guys are in favor of deplatforming, by the way. So it's like, well, you're the deplatformer. Well, you're the you both are guilty of it.
Exactly. You know
Well, we got Alpha Lobster for 5 subs.
God damn! Thank you guys. Wow, Alpha Lobster, appreciate you, man.
Well, I sure do.
Ethan, I think
see that?
you know.
Ethan, it's like the same tone that like a mother would take with a child or like a teacher takes with a student. And it's just really condescending and really smug and really gay.
Someone goes, he's Hassan's a One Piece fan. Thoughts? We do not claim him.
My position on this, as I made it very clear, I think it's completely inappropriate to fucking call.
No.
CPS.
That's obvious. I'm saying your friend
CPS
Hassan
on
you
a
made a
content
video
creator you don't
with
like.
did
I
a
don't know why
total
you're-
fucking
I don't know
hit
why you
job.
think I have
All right,
any
go ahead.
hand
Ask me a
in this.
question.
I don't have any like.
Go
dude,
ahead.
Listen.
Go
listen,
ahead.
Listen to me.
Slow.
Listen. We're both content creators online.
I love how the left turned on each other.
Oh, it's so good. Remember when they were together on Leftovers?
Oh my god.
My best friend. Ooh, you making me feel. And they were the two-man power trip running wild. And they were destroying the right wing.
And now,
Look at them.
bravo.
Look at them.
We both have received an endless wave of harassment. You and I have talked privately about this.
Hassan, I don't
when
care.
we
Let's
were-
just go
when we
on.
had a
You-
podcast.
I don't-
No,
I-
what do you mean? You
I
brought
don't-
this up. You brought it up. Hold on.
I
let
know
me
what
say
you're
my piece.
saying. We've all
You
been
brought it
harassed.
up.
The internet
Let
is
me
tough.
bring- let
Whatever,
me say
yada
my
yada.
piece.
Ask me a question.
No. Please, Ethan, please.
Because you're so
Please.
boring, bro. I just want to have an interesting conversation. Go ahead.
Just cooked him. Just cooked him. And H3 will get in these little quick, funny one-liners throughout these jabs, and a lot of them do go over Hassan's head.
Yeah.
And Hassan is just so slow and so brutal throughout this. H3 really runs circles around him.
Yeah.
Really does.
You know, Ian was watching this like, oh no. Oh no, Hassan, please.
Please, just hold on.
Wow,
and let
I have-
me
wow,
try
God
to
forbid.
explain my position to you. You and I are both content creators. We get an endless wave of harassment, doxing, swatting, all of this stuff. Okay, sometimes by the same people. Ironically enough, by the same communities. You and I know we've had these conversations in private
been a
before.
while.
It's not working.